Chapter 2246. Zhao Ritian's fist was surrounded by chaotic light. A pair of chaotic gloves appeared vaguely, exuding an ancient and mysterious aura. When it clashed with the primitive gonfalon, it was not at a disadvantage at all. The original prince's body trembled as he was sent flying by Zhao Ritian's punch. His eyes were filled with grief and indignation, hatred and anger. It was fine if he could not defeat Ling Xiao, but he could not even defeat Zhao Ritian? Kill! Prince Primitive was about to go crazy. He roared and used the primitive gonfalon to manifest the primordial scripture's supreme power. It shook the heavens and caused thousands of stars to fall as he charged towards Zhao Ritian. Rumble! In the void, an intense battle broke out between Prince Primitive and Zhao Ritian. If it was not for the fact that the space in the Daluo scroll was extremely sturdy, their casual attacks would have shattered the void and turned the heavens and earth into chaos. Kill all these demon bastards. Jin Se, Old Goat, Taoist Wu Yang, and Feng Qingyang's eyes were filled with strong fighting spirit. The divine light around them burned brightly as they used their powerful abilities to kill the demon race experts. Among the demon race experts, the Devil Sky Army had been wiped out. Although there were hundreds of demon race experts left, many of them were heaven-treading three realms experts. However, they were far inferior to Prince Primitive and Undying Prince. After Prince Primitive and Undying Prince were restrained by Zhao Ritian and Ling Xiao, the remaining demon race experts were no threat to Jin Se and the other three. Jin Se held the regal sword as Yin and Yang Qi circled around her. Her sword Qi swept across 30,000 miles and was extremely sharp. Every sword could kill a demon race expert. The yin-yang secret technique in her hands exploded with unparalleled sharpness. Taoist Wu Yang flew across the sky with his sword and used the supreme sword manipulation technique of the Tao race. He took the head of the demon race experts from 10,000 miles away. The sword light split into billions of rays as though it formed a sword domain, constantly killing or severely injuring the demon race experts. Feng Qingyang, on the other hand, unleashed the blazing grand sun primordial fire. It was like a divine sun that hung across the 9 heavens, burying the demon race experts in a sea of fire. Rumble! The old goat was the most wretched. He directly used the devouring heaven's sacred domain. The mighty devouring great Tao exploded, and devouring vortexes surrounded him. Those Devil Clan experts who were severely injured by Jin Se, Taoist Wu Yang, and Feng Qingyang couldn't escape at all. They were all eaten by the old goat. The battle between Undying Prince and Ling Xiao was the most intense. Ling Xiao and the Undying Prince had both broken through the third limit and were at the heavenly realm. However, they were evenly matched in this battle. They fought from the sky to the ground. They were like two dazzling storms of divine light. Every time they clashed, huge waves would be created. Undying of the Undying Prince, Undying Prince of the Undying of the Undying of the Undying of Undying. However, the Undying Prince seemed to be indestructible. All the wounds that Ling Xiao had left on him instantly healed. Moreover, there seemed to be a mysterious connection between him and the Daluo scroll, allowing him to borrow the power of the Daluo scroll and become invulnerable. As the son of the Undying Demon Emperor, the Undying Prince unleashed the strongest emperor technique of the Undying Scripture. His combat strength soared to the extreme, causing Ling Xiao to feel great pressure. Rumble! 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 The two of them were fighting with all their might. This was a peerless collision between two peerless geniuses. It was the fated battle between the human race and the demon race. Ling Xiao felt great pressure. After all, the Undying Prince was the son of the Undying Demon Emperor. He had the Undying Emperor blood and the Undying Scripture. Now that he had the Daluo scroll, an extreme emperor weapon, each of his attacks had the power to destroy heaven and earth. Ling Xiao had no choice but to fight back with all his might. The Undying Prince was even more shocked. He had unleashed the power of the Undying Emperor blood, the Undying Scripture, and the Daluo scroll. He could barely fight Ling Xiao to a standstill. Moreover, he felt that Ling Xiao's power was limitless. It made him feel a little scared. How could there be such a freak in the human race? He had met the son of the heavenly emperor of the human race once. At that time, he felt that the Heavenly Emperor was his fated enemy. He was also his greatest enemy to become the Chosen One. Now, it seemed that Long Outyen's threat was not inferior to the Heavenly Emperor at all. Is the wordless Heavenly Book so mysterious? If I can get the wordless Heavenly Book, I will be able to defeat all the heroes and become the Chosen One. I will create an era that belongs to the demon race. The more he felt Ling Xiao's power, the more the Undying Prince's heart burned. His determination to kill Ling Xiao and snatch the wordless Heavenly Book became more and more determined. However, at this moment, a sharp voice suddenly exploded in the sky. It was so sharp that it seemed to be able to pierce through the 9 heavens. Everyone couldn't help but be shocked. A monstrous, ferocious aura erupted, causing everyone to raise their heads at the same time. Above the void, endless flames rose. The Flame Emperor Cauldron spewed out a blazing light, and a 3-legged crow flew out from it. Its entire body seemed to be cast in gold, and its aura was terrifying. It was as if an ancient, ferocious beast had awakened, and its aura shocked everyone. That is, the 3-legged golden crow? Someone exclaimed, his eyes filled with disbelief. The 3-legged golden crow was an ancient beast. It was on the same level as the ancestral dragon and the true phoenix. It had once devoured gods and demons and slaughtered millions of lives. Its strength was terrifying. No one would have thought that there would be a 3-legged golden crow here. Is that the bird on Zhao Ritian's head? The old goat had a strange look in his eyes. He had long noticed the 3-legged crimson bird on Zhao Ritian's shoulder. At that time, he did not think much of it. However, he did not expect the bird to be the ancient beast, the 3-legged golden crow. This guy is really the son of destiny. All the good things fall into his hands. Taoist Wu Yang said with a sigh. Zhao Ritian and Ling Xiao were the same. They both came from the weak mortal world. However, Zhao Ritian was able to grow into a peerless genius that could compete with the demon race's emperor's son. It had to be said that Zhao Ritian's heaven-defying luck was related to it. It was as if Zhao Ritian could find treasures wherever he went. Just by taking a stroll outside, there would be ancient almighties crying and begging to give him treasures and inheritances. This heaven-defying luck made the old goat and Taoist Wu Yang jealous. Rumble. Chapter 2247. Rumble. The aura of the 3-legged golden crow merged with the Yen Emperor Cauldron, and a terrifying emperor's aura burst out like a dazzling sun, crashing into the Daluo scroll. The Daluo scroll trembled violently, and layers of the void exploded. The Daluo scroll contained endless space-time, and even a sage king would find it difficult to escape from it. Only an emperor's weapon of the same level could break it open. Blazing flames burst out, and the Yen Emperor Cauldron instantly left a huge void tunnel in the Daluo scroll. It turned into a dazzling divine light that shot into the sky. Let's go! Zhao Ritian's eyes flashed as he shouted at Ling Xiao and the others. He turned into a blazing divine light and flew out of the Daluo scroll. If they continued to stay in the Daluo scroll, they would be trapped sooner or later. However, the Undying Prince had the Daluo scroll's support, so he was naturally invincible. Let's go! Ling Xiao also saw the void tunnel created by the Yen Emperor Cauldron. He used the recoil from the collision with the Undying Prince to fly out of the Daluo scroll. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Jin Sei, Old Goat, Taoist Wu Yang, and Feng Qingyang were unable to stop them. More than half of the 100 Demon Clan experts were killed by them. They also used a teleportation technique to leave the Daluo scroll. Rumble. In the void, the Daluo scroll spanned tens of thousands of miles, exuding a powerful emperor's aura. It was intertwined with the Great Dao Law, and the runes were dazzling, majestic, and noble. The Undying Prince frowned. The 3-legged golden crow had merged with the Yen Emperor Cauldron to break open the Daluo scroll, which was beyond his expectations. However, he did not stop Ling Xiao and the others because he felt a dangerous aura from outside the tunnel. Someone set a trap. Are they trying to be the Oreo? The Undying Prince's eyes were cold, and he exuded a terrifying aura. Swoosh. The runes in his palm shone brightly, and the Daluo scroll in the void shrunk to its normal size, floating above his head, making him look even more noble and majestic. "Come out. Is it fun to watch me and Long Outyin fight to the death?" The undying prince stared at the void in the distance and said coldly, "What? Is there anyone else?" The expressions of the original prince and the other experts of the Devil Clan could not help but change as they became vigilant. "Is there an ambush?" Ling Zhao's eyes flickered. His senses were extremely sharp. After leaving the Daluo scroll, he sensed an extremely dangerous aura. Although the surrounding void looked calm, it was filled with killing intent. It was as if Ling Zhao, the undying prince, and the others had all been locked down. "I didn't think that you fiend brats would be so vigilant. But so what if you found out? Today everyone will die." An incomparably cold voice exploded in the void. Rumble. The void shook, and chaotic mist filled the air. A vast and terrifying aura exploded as a golden chariot slowly approached. There was a golden dragon and a golden phoenix pulling the chariot, and it exuded an extremely terrifying aura. It was as if the Heavenly Emperor was patrolling, and it made one's heart tremble. The Heavenly Emperor's chariot slowly approached, and a light veil covered it. Chaotic light rose, and a mysterious young figure could be vaguely seen. His face could not be seen clearly, but he exuded a mysterious aura of nobility and majesty. It contained the heavenly Tao, and it had an aura of dominating the life and death of all living beings. Behind the Heavenly Emperor's chariot, there were dozens of figures with powerful auras. The men were handsome, and the women were beautiful. Each of them had an extraordinary aura, and their cultivation was extremely terrifying. Most of them were supreme experts in the third level of heaven treading. The person who had just spoken was the Yuanshan Saint, who was standing beside the Heavenly Emperor's chariot. He looked cold, and he stood with his hands behind his back. He had an arrogant attitude, and he stared coldly at the undying prince, Ling Zhao, and the others. His eyes were filled with mockery and disdain. "Emperor?" The undying prince trembled, and his gaze fell on the Heavenly Emperor's chariot. There was a tinge of fear in his eyes. He had met the Emperor before, and he was very familiar with the Emperor's aura. Naturally, he could recognize the figure on the Heavenly Emperor's chariot. It was the legendary son of the Heavenly Emperor. Ling Zhao's gaze also became extremely sharp. He had once fought with the Emperor's Taoist body, and he could naturally recognize the Emperor's aura. The Emperor's chariot was the Emperor's real body. Ling Zhao did not expect the Emperor to be the one who had set up the ambush outside. The Emperor did not help Ling Zhao deal with the devil race experts immediately. Instead, he hid outside the Avalon of 5 elements. His intentions could be imagined. He probably wanted Ling Zhao and the devil race to suffer great losses, and then he would take action to kill everyone in one fell swoop. "Undying Prince, Primordial Prince, give up now. Perhaps the Emperor will spare your lives. Otherwise, all of you will die." The Yuanshan Saint laughed coldly. The undying prince did not even look at the Yuanshan Saint. His gaze fell on the Heavenly Emperor's chariot, and he said coldly, "Emperor, you are really scheming. The human race's geniuses are all here, right? I didn't expect you to go through so much trouble for me." The Yuanshan Saint saw that he was ignored, and his face turned ugly. He shouted coldly, "Undying Prince, don't make a mistake. Everyone has the right to kill evil demons. The Emperor is magnanimous and is willing to spare your life. Do you have to court death?" "Shut up. Who do you think you are? How dare you bark in front of me?" The undying prince's gaze turned cold as he stared at the Yuanshan Saint. The undying prince was the son of the devil world's overlord and the most dazzling genius in the universe. Naturally, he was incomparably arrogant. In the entire divine world, only the Emperor was worthy of his attention. Of course, Ling Zhao might be included now. He did not care about a nobody like the Yuanshan Saint. However, the Yuanshan Saint's repeated provocations had angered him. "You are courting death." The Yuanshan Saint trembled with anger, and his eyes were filled with cold, murderous intent. In his opinion, whether it was the undying prince or Ling Zhao, they were already like turtles in a jar. Their lives were in the hands of the Emperor, but these people did not have the slightest awareness. Undying Prince, we meet again. Heaven is virtuous. If you are willing to give up the devil race's bloodline and rely on me, I can spare your life. What do you think? A faint voice came from the heavenly emperor's chariot, and it was clearly transmitted to everyone's ears. Chapter 2248. Tianzi, this was a legendary name. The Sky Sovereign was the head of the 9 sovereigns of the human race. He was the most dazzling great sovereign who created the human race's epic. It was because of the Sky Sovereign's rise that the human race walked from darkness to light. They had a bright future and could enter the God world and suppress the heavens. As the son of the heavenly emperor, there was too much mystery about him since his birth. He shouldered the hopes of countless people, hoping that he could continue the glory of the heavenly emperor and become the great emperor of the human race. Having inherited the bloodline of the heavenly emperor, Tianzi's talent was naturally unparalleled. He was known as the heavenly Tao body, able to control the origin of all Taos in the world. He could instantly comprehend any Tao art and mystique, and even cultivated the heavenly emperor scripture. His strength was enough to defeat all the geniuses of his generation, and he was the #1 in the world. No matter how proud the Undying Prince was, he had to admit that Tianzi was stronger than him. At this moment, Tianzi's voice rang in everyone's ears. Everyone's expression changed slightly as they looked at the heavenly emperor's war chariot with different expressions. Tianzi, who was on the heavenly emperor's war chariot, was like the center of the world, dazzling and dazzling. What a strange feeling. Second uncle, why do I feel that Tianzi is giving me a familiar feeling? Zhao Ritian's eyes revealed a trace of doubt as he thought to himself. When he first saw the figure on the heavenly emperor's war chariot, he felt a little dazed, as if he had met this person before. It gave him an extremely strange feeling. Perhaps you really have met him before. Second uncle said slowly. His voice was a little strange, as if he was suppressing something, and no one could hear any fluctuations in his emotions. Oh! Zhao Ritian nodded. He was optimistic by nature, and he would not think about things that he could not figure out. The Undying Prince stared at Tianzi with a bone-chilling gaze as he sneered, Tianzi, I admit that you are strong. But do you really think that you can make me stay? Rumble. He exuded an extremely dangerous aura, causing the void to tremble slightly. The Daluo scroll floated in the void, emitting rings of dangerous extreme emperor's aura, causing the Undying Prince to look extremely sharp. He had the absolute monarch weapon, the Daluo painting. Although he felt that he might not be a match for Tianzi, he had the Daluo painting to protect himself. You're relying on nothing more than the Daluo painting. But what if the Daluo painting is gone? Tianzi's voice was as calm as ever, but in Immortal Prince's ears, it was like a clap of thunder, causing his expression to change. What? Rumble. Dazzling light blossomed from the chariot. In an instant, dazzling sword rays soared into the sky with unfathomable heavenly might. They interweaved into a terrifying sword net that shot toward the Daluo scroll. The sword lights were extremely sharp. Every single one of them seemed to contain the truths of the heavenly Tao. They formed an extremely powerful sword formation that enveloped the origin immortal painting. The Undying Prince knew that things were not going well. When the sword lights shot out, he activated the Daluo painting as well. However, when the Daluo painting and the sword lights collided, a blinding divine light exploded. It was as if the heavens and earth were falling apart. The aura was extremely terrifying. The connection between the Daluo painting and the Undying Prince seemed to be cut off by the sword lights. It was getting weaker and weaker. Oh no! The Undying Prince leaped into the air, his murderous intent boiling. He unleashed the power of a heaven realm cultivator and activated the Daluo scroll with all his might. He wanted to shatter the net of swords and return. However, the powerful sword net was stronger than he had imagined. It completely trapped the Daluo painting within. The number of sword lights multiplied, and the sword rain covered the sky like a vast ocean. Soon, the Daluo painting could no longer be seen. At the same time, another dazzling sword light shot out from the chariot towards the Undying Prince's forehead. Heavenly Tao Emperor Sword? This is the Heavenly Tao Emperor, sword of the Heavenly Tao Emperor. The undying prince's body trembled. His eyes were filled with disbelief. The Heavenly Tao Emperor sword was the Heavenly Emperor's extreme Tao Emperor weapon. It contained the power of 3,000 great Taos. It was rumored that the Heavenly Emperor had gathered the true meaning of the 3,000 great Taos to forge it. It contained the true meaning of judgment. It was like a heavenly Tao that could suppress everything. It was extremely terrifying. The Heavenly Tao Emperor sword was even known as the #1 sword in the heavens. However, it was rumored that the Heavenly Tao Emperor sword had disappeared with the Heavenly Emperor. The undying prince did not expect to see the Heavenly Tao Emperor sword in the hands of the Heavenly Emperor. Could it be that the Heavenly Emperor had passed the Heavenly Tao Emperor sword to him? This sword looks very familiar. Zhao Ritian's gaze was a little strange. He looked at the Heavenly Tao Emperor sword and felt that it was very familiar. It was as if he had seen the Heavenly Tao Emperor sword and the Heavenly Tao Emperor sword somewhere before. Rumble. The undying prince was in great danger. The Heavenly Tao Emperor sword was extremely terrifying. Not only could it trap the Daluo painting temporarily, but it could even attack the undying prince. What made the undying prince disappointed was that the Heavenly Emperor did not even get out of the Heavenly Emperor chariot. The undying prince's body exploded with a powerful aura. In an instant, his body shook slightly and a figure that looked exactly like him appeared in front of him. Whether it was the aura, cultivation, or soul ripples, it was exactly the same. The sword light instantly pierced through the forehead of the doppelganger and killed it completely. The undying prince also took the opportunity to escape the area sealed by the sword light. How could you trap my Daluo painting? Who are you? The undying prince's eyes were filled with shock and anger. He did not expect the Heavenly Emperor to know his biggest secret. Although the Daluo painting was an extreme Tao Emperor weapon, he had never been able to fully control it. There seemed to be an inexplicable rejection between the two. Previously, the undying prince had to pay a great price to be able to revive the Daluo painting. The Son of Heaven used the Heavenly Tao Emperor sword to split off the great Tao origin power. He attached it to the sword light and formed a powerful sword formation. It made the already weak connection between the undying prince and the Daluo scroll even weaker. If the Heavenly Emperor did not know the secret between the undying prince and the Daluo painting, he would not have been able to accurately and ruthlessly attack the undying prince's vital point. The undying prince had to sacrifice one of his doppelganger in order to dodge this killer move. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Chapter 2249. Rumble. The sword light split apart in the void. Some contained monstrous flames, some could freeze everything, and some contained endless lightning. Every sword light seemed to contain the power of the great Tao. They intertwined with each other and locked onto the undying prince's vital points. The Heavenly Tao Emperor sword was the Emperor's extreme Tao Emperor weapon. Legend had it that with the Heavenly Tao Emperor sword in hand, one could control the power of the Heavenly Tao and mobilize all the Taos in the world to unleash destructive power. Damn it! The undying prince's face changed and his eyes darkened. Suddenly, a blazing light burst out from his body, causing the void to tremble and the world to roar. A terrifying aura gushed out from between his eyebrows. It was an extremely blurry figure. Chaotic chi rose and fell around him while dark light interweaved together. He emanated an invincible aura that could devour the world, and he was like a supreme emperor that was dignified and mysterious. The imprint of the undying demon emperor? The emperor said in surprise. The figure exuded a powerful emperor's aura. It was the imprint that the undying demon emperor left on the undying prince's forehead. It was also the undying prince's greatest trump card. However, under the threat of the Heavenly Tao Emperor sword, the undying prince had no choice but to summon the imprint of the undying demon emperor. He felt the threat of death. He might die under the sword chi of the Heavenly Tao Emperor sword. Rumble. The void trembled and the imprint of the undying demon emperor soared into the sky. A huge palm print struck across the sky and instantly, the sharp sword chi was smashed into dust. The undying demon emperor's aura did not diminish. He soared into the sky and crashed into the sword chi net that sealed the Daluo scroll in the void. The sword chi net in the void trembled violently and the runes exploded. Divine light swept out in all directions. Although the Heavenly Tao Emperor sword contained the power of the Heavenly Tao, the imprint of the undying Demon Emperor contained the Emperor's aura. With one strike, the sword chi net in the void was smashed into dust. The Daluo scroll emitted a dazzling light and fell down from the sky, directly wrapping around the undying prince. Emperor, I will remember what you have done for me today. I will repay you generously in the future. The undying prince glared at the emperor, his eyes filled with anger and killing intent. Rumble. He was swept up by the Daluo scroll, and at the same time, Original Prince was wrapped within it. Instantly, he soared into the sky and broke through the void, escaping from this area. Tianzi didn't chase after the undying prince and the original prince. His eyes were as bright as the sun, as if he wasn't surprised that the undying prince and the original prince had escaped. Son of Heaven, are we going to let them escape just like that? The Yuanshan Saint asked unwillingly. If he could kill the undying prince and the primordial prince here, the Son of Heaven's reputation would definitely shake the entire universe. He would truly become the #1 genius and sweep through everything. However, Yuanshan Saint's son did not expect Tianzi to let both Undying Prince and Original Prince go. The Undying Demon Emperor's imprint clone is very strong. If I force the Undying Prince to stay, I'm afraid it will only anger the Undying Demon Emperor. Now is not the time to start an all-out war with the Devil World. Moreover, the two of them are no longer my match. Tianzi said faintly. His voice was incomparably calm. We're letting them off too easily. The Yuanshan Saint's son snorted coldly. There was a tinge of unwillingness in his eyes. After the Undying Prince and the Original Prince had escaped, the remaining dozens of Devil Race experts were filled with despair. Some of them even started to go crazy and wanted to fight for their lives. After all, they knew very well that without the Undying Prince and the Original Prince, they were no match for the human race experts. Kill them. The Yuanshan Saint's son sneered and waved his hand. Rumble. Suddenly, a few powerful human race experts attacked. Each of them had the aura of a dragon and the divine light around them was blazing. They exploded with the power of the Great Path Origin. Every move they made had an unfathomable heavenly might as they charged towards the Devil Race experts. Blood rained in the void as an intense battle broke out. Although the Devil Race experts wanted to fight for their lives and even wanted to self-destruct to perish together with the human race experts, their resistance was futile. In the end, all of them died in the hands of the human race supreme talents. Their souls were scattered and they died. At this point, other than the Undying Prince and the Original Prince, all the other geniuses in the Demon Clan's hunting operation had died here. The void was filled with a thick smell of blood, as though a great battle had just taken place. Long Outyan, why aren't you surrendering? The Yuanshan Saint's son looked coldly at Ling Xiao and shouted. The gazes of the human experts all fell on Ling Xiao and the others. Some were shocked, some were disdainful, some were mocking, and some were indifferent. Powerful auras burst out and locked onto Ling Xiao and the others in the center. Surrendering? Are you guys going to attack me? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he said nonchalantly. Zhao Ritian, the old goat, Jin Sei, and the rest all stood beside Ling Xiao, their eyes filled with vigilance. Especially Zhao Ritian's Emperor Yen Cauldron. It shone brilliantly and was ancient and mysterious. It spun above Zhao Ritian's head as though it could break open the heavens and earth at any time. What? Do you want to attack me, Emperor? Ling Xiao smiled faintly, but his voice was filled with undisguised mockery. Are you Long Outyan? Your talent is truly not bad, but you and that demon expert were both enveloped by the origin scroll. No one knows if you're a true human or a demon brat who snuck in, so you must be inspected. Emperor said nonchalantly. What if we don't want to? Ling Xiao was so angry that he laughed. Tianzi's so-called inspection was just an excuse. He still wanted Ling Xiao and the others to surrender so that he could investigate and punish them unscathed. But now, Ling Zhao's caution seemed to have exceeded Emperor's expectations. If you don't want to, then we can only kill you. For the safety of the chaotic ancient land and for the prosperity of the human race, we have to eliminate all possibilities of harming the human race. Therefore, you must surrender yourselves and accept the inspection. Otherwise, only death awaits. Emperor said nonchalantly as though he was not affected by Ling Zhao's words. What the sanctimonious act! What bullshit for the prosperity of the human race! If you want to attack us, just say it. Why do you have to be so secretive? The old goat sneered, his eyes filled with killing intent. He was incomparably furious. After hearing Emperor's words, he immediately knew that Emperor was up to no good. Otherwise, once they fell into Emperor's hands, they would be at his mercy. This was a condition that no one could agree to. Chapter 2250. Tianzi had finally revealed his true intentions. He had set up this trap to kill two birds with one stone. Not only would he be able to eliminate the demon race's prodigies, but he would also be able to eliminate Ling Zhao and the rest, eliminating a huge threat. Now, other than the undying prince and the original prince who had escaped, the rest of the geniuses of the demon tribe had been annihilated. He had completed the first step of his plan. Ling Zhao and the rest had naturally become Tianzi's targets. Rumble. The celestial emperor's war chariot exuded an ancient and majestic aura. The golden light was dazzling, and the ancient runes on it formed various mysterious scenes, making Tianzi look even more majestic and mysterious. Numerous experts from the human clan surrounded Ling Zhao and the others. Their faces were cold, and their eyes were filled with cold, killing intent. Myriad Buddha Temple, Terminator Demon Sect, 9 Imperial Gates, 5 Elements Saint Sect, Spacetime Heavenly Gate, are they all here? Ling Zhao glanced at the experts of the human race and said slowly. The human experts' strength was unfathomable. They were all in the 3rd stage of heaven treading. Based on their aura, Ling Zhao could easily guess their identities. Other than the chaotic heavenly sect, Samsara Temple, Taishang Dao Palace, and Combat God Hall, the other 8 sacred grounds saints and prodigies were all present. Moreover, the wordless heavenly book in Ling Zhao's mind was also trembling slightly, exuding light. That was because it had sensed the aura of the 12 Sky Skills' secret skill. This made Ling Zhao even more certain that these saints and prodigies must have the inheritance of the 12 Sky Skills' secret skill. Long Outyen, why don't you obediently surrender? Tianzi is the son of the heavens. If you have no problems, he will definitely give you justice. But if you resist stubbornly, only death awaits you. The Yuanshan saint sneered and played the role of a lackey well. In his opinion, Ling Zhao and the rest were already dead. Whether they resisted or not, it was no surprise at all. Tianzi's combat strength was unparalleled. He had suppressed the undying prince with his own strength, and the heavenly Dao Emperor sword was unstoppable. Ling Zhao and the rest were no match for him. Not to mention, the 8 sacred grounds saints and prodigies were also present. What a boastful tone. I really want to see what ability you have to be so arrogant. The old goat laughed in anger, and a fierce light flashed in his eyes. Rumble. A powerful aura rose around him as the ancient and mysterious devouring array floated above his head, exuding a powerful emperor's aura. Although Jin Se, Taoist Wuliang, and Feng Qingyang did not speak, they also unleashed their powerful auras and began to be on guard. On the other hand, Zhao Ritian seemed to be in a daze. There was a hint of confusion in his eyes. The heavenly Dao Emperor sword, the heavenly the Archwar chariot, and the Son of Heaven are all very familiar to me. Have I really seen them before? Ritian, now is not the time for you to be in a daze. You should think about how to solve the problem in front of you. It seems like the Emperor really wants to take your lives. Second uncle said vaguely, but his voice was cold, as if he was suppressing his anger. So what if he's the son of the heavenly Emperor? He doesn't have the qualifications to take our lives. Zhao. Ritian. Rumble. The flame Emperor cauldron floated in the void, covering Ling Zhao and the rest. Blazing flames rose around it as if it could burn the void. A powerful emperor's aura spread out, causing the heavens and earth to rumble and the sun and moon to dim. Clang. Sensing the flame emperor cauldron's aura, the heavenly emperor's war chariot released a vast sword aura. The sound of the sword was extremely bright and resounding. The vast aura of the way of heaven burst forth like a raging sea. Along with the rise of the sword chi, it turned into a 10,000-foot-long sword essence in the void and locked onto the Yen Emperor cauldron. The heavenly emperor's sword had struck. The two emperors' weapons clashed in the void. Terrifying emperor's aura swept out in all directions. Divine light flashed across the sky, shaking the heavens and earth like thunder, crushing the surrounding space into dust. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. He realized that although the Flame Emperor cauldron was powerful, the Heavenly Emperor's sword seemed to have awakened. The sword aura became more terrifying as if it had a life of its own. It made one's scalp tingle as if it could destroy everything. The Heavenly Emperor's sword started to suppress the Flame Emperor cauldron. Damn it! If it wasn't for the Daluo scroll, the Emperor wouldn't have taken advantage of it. Old Goat and the rest looked ghastly pale. An awakened Extreme Dao Monarch weapon and an unawakened Extreme Dao Monarch weapon were not on the same level. An awakened Extreme Dao Monarch weapon was like a supreme great monarch that could kill everything. Although an unawakened Emperor's weapon was powerful, its power was limited. Rumble! The Yen Emperor cauldron's flames rose and its divine light was dazzling. Originally, it had opened up an ancient and mysterious enchantment. However, at this moment, it was suppressed by the Heavenly Dao Emperor sword and started to shrink. It became smaller and smaller until finally, it could barely protect Zhao Ritian, Ling Xiao, and the rest. Is this the legendary Flame Emperor cauldron? I didn't expect you to be able to obtain the inheritance of the Flame Emperor. It's such an important inheritance and it's not something you can bear. Hand it over. The Emperor's faint voice resounded in the void. However, every word of his seemed to contain the divine might of the great Tao. It was like thunder that exploded in the void and covered the entire sky. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. As soon as his voice trailed off, the gigantic sword essence in the void slashed down and collided violently with the Yen Emperor cauldron. Countless runes exploded and the flames were shattered. Even the boundary of the Yen Emperor cauldron that was protecting Ling Xiao and the others began to shake. The Heavenly Emperor's sword formed streaks of sharp sword radiance in the void and slashed at the Flame Emperor cauldron. The Flame Emperor cauldron let out dazzling light and shook violently. How dare you covet what belongs to me, Zhao Ritian? Not to mention that you're the son of the Heavenly Emperor, even the Heavenly Emperor doesn't have the right to do so. Zhao Ritian seemed to be completely enraged. His eyes were filled with ferocity as he stared at the Emperor's war chariot and said coldly, "Rumble!" Dazzling divine light shot out from Zhao Ritian's body. It was like a flame that could destroy the heavens and earth. It was like a boundless light that could split the heavens and earth apart. It exploded and surged towards the Flame Emperor cauldron like a torrent. Chapter 2251. Rumble. Blazing torrents gushed out from Zhao Ritian's body as though they could shatter the heavens and the earth. They contained terrifying energy fluctuations. After merging into the Emperor Flame Cauldron, the Emperor Flame Cauldron instantly emitted a blazing light. A destructive aura spread out and the Emperor Flame Cauldron was awakened once again. What kind of power is that? It's impossible for the divine body of the sun to have such terrifying power. Ling Zhao's body trembled and his eyes were filled with disbelief. He had always thought that Zhao Ritian had the divine body of the sun regardless of whether it was Zhao Ritian's ability to unleash the extreme yang energy, or the fact that he had inherited the Emperor Flame Cauldron, or the fact that he was recognized by the Emperor Flame Cauldron. These were all conditions that only the divine body of the sun could possess. However, Ling Xiao suddenly realized that he might have been wrong. Zhao Ritian's physique was not the divine body of the sun. Even the sacred chaotic physique of the Wuji saint could not unleash such terrifying power, let alone the divine body of the sun. This is the forbidden power? In Ling Zhao's consciousness, the device spirit of the flipping sky seal, Thunder Spirit King, said with a trembling voice, He was filled with disbelief as though he had recognized something. Forbidden power? What is this forbidden power? Ling Xiao asked curiously. Master, during this period of time, my integration with the flipping sky seal has become deeper and deeper. I have obtained some ancient imprints from it and found out some secrets. Do you know? The Heavenly Emperor has the forbidden body. It is a physique and power that even the Heavenly Way is afraid of. Legend has it that the Heavenly Emperor's life was filled with disasters, but he always went against the flow and killed strong enemies in desperate situations. In the end, he achieved the Heavenly Way step by step because he has the forbidden body. The power that Zhao Ritian unleashed seems to be the forbidden body. This is strange. Tianzi is the son of the Heavenly Emperor, but he did not inherit the forbidden body. Instead, it is Zhao Ritian who has the forbidden body. However, it doesn't seem to be the case. Those who have the forbidden body are envied by the heavens and their lives are filled with disasters. However, Zhao Ritian is the son of the Heavenly Way and his luck is extremely good. From this point of view, Zhao Ritian doesn't seem to have the forbidden body. Thunder Spirit King said slowly. In the end, even he was confused. Forbidden body, the forbidden power? Ling Zhao's eyes gleamed with sharpness. He could feel a heaven-defying power emanating from Zhao Ritian's body. It was as though it could tear everything apart. It was extremely terrifying. However, the Flame Emperor Cauldron awakened immediately after fusing with that power. Rumble! The Yen Emperor Cauldron shone brilliantly and collided with the Heavenly Dao Emperor Sword in the void. The huge Heavenly Dao Emperor Sword's sword gang was pulverized. The sky was filled with blazing flames. The Flame Emperor Cauldron floated in the void like a dazzling sun. Piff! After Zhao Ritian unleashed the forbidden energy, he could not help but tremble as if he had been severely injured. He spat out a mouthful of blood and his face turned extremely pale. He looked as if he was about to fall from the sky. Zhao Ritian, are you all right? Ling Xiao was quick to react. In an instant, he leaped over and supported Zhao Ritian. I'm fine. However, I seem to be exhausted. I'll be fine after some rest. What did I do just now? Zhao Ritian shook his head. However, his eyes were filled with confusion. It was as if he did not know that he was the one who had done it. Buzz. Without the forbidden energy in Zhao Ritian's body, the Flame Emperor Cauldron awakened like water without a source. It regained its calmness and floated above everyone's heads. Rumble! At the same time, a terrifying divine light rose from the Celestial Emperor's war chariot. The heavens and earth shook violently and the chaotic light exploded. A figure stepped out from the chariot, exuding an indomitable aura. It was a flawless man. He was slender and handsome. He wore a golden armor and a pair of true dragon boots. He wore a jade crown on his head. His skin was as clear as jade and he looked extremely handsome. His every move exuded a majestic and mysterious aura. His eyes looked extremely deep and the runes in them were dazzling. It was as if there was a chaotic world hidden in them. One look at them and one could not help but be immersed in them. When he walked down from the Celestial Emperor's war chariot, he looked like an invincible great emperor who was patrolling the heavens. He exuded an unparalleled aura that made people admire him. However, at this moment, his eyes were blazing as he stared at Zhao Ritian. His eyes were filled with shock, doubt, and disbelief. So this is Tianzi? He looks pretty good. He's comparable to the ox-nosed old Taoist. However, I just can't stand the sight of him. I want to kick his face with my hooves. The old goat looked at the man in the golden armor and said unhappily. One had to admit that Tianzi's appearance was too perfect. Even the Ice Mountain Goddess would find it hard to control herself after seeing him. Even the saint and sky prides with unparalleled talents would feel ashamed. It was no wonder that Tianzi had so many followers. For you, Tianzi stared at Zhao Ritian and asked calmly. I'm your master, Zhao Ritian. You're Tianzi? You don't look like much. You're only half as handsome as me. Zhao Ritian's face was a little pale. At this moment, he swallowed a healing pill and laughed arrogantly. His face was filled with arrogance and arrogance. You're not him. You can't be him. Tianzi stared at Zhao Ritian for a moment and shook his head. The sharpness in his eyes slowly disappeared and became cold again. Who is he? Hey, you brat. Finish your sentence. I hate it when people only finish half their words. Zhao Ritian's curiosity was piqued. He looked at Tianzi unhappily and said, Although you're not him, you still have to die. The heavenly prince slowly said. His body emitted a monstrous murderous intent, causing the surrounding space to violently tremble and distort. Rumble. An ancient sword appeared in his palm. It looked very simple. On one side, there were mountains, rivers, grass, trees, the sun, the moon, and stars. On the other side, there were images of millions of gods and demons. It contained the majestic power of the heavenly Tao. This was the sword of the heavenly emperor. Legend had it that it had killed millions of gods and demons. It had slaughtered countless experts from powerful races. It was stained with the blood of a great emperor and could control thousands of Daos. The number one sword in the world, the heavenly Tao Emperor Sword. Tianzi held the heavenly Tao Emperor Sword and pointed it at Ling Xiao, Zhao Ritian, and the rest. Ling Xiao, Zhao Ritian, and the rest could not help but tremble. They felt a peerless sharpness locking onto them. Even the Inferno Emperor's cauldron could not block that terrifying power. The killing intent was blazing to the extreme. Ling Zhao's gaze turned serious. Now that Zhao Ritian was severely injured, the Inferno Emperor's cauldron could not block the sharpness of the heavenly Tao Emperor Sword. They had encountered an unimaginable danger. Chapter 2252. Tianzi walked down from the Sky Emperor war chariot with the heavenly Tao Emperor Sword in his hand. He locked onto Ling Xiao and the others with murderous intent boiling around him. The heavenly Tao Emperor Sword's peerless radiance exploded as though it had been completely awakened. The extreme emperor's aura exploded in the void, causing the Yen Emperor cauldron to tremble violently. Ling Xiao stared at Tianzi and the heavenly Tao Emperor Sword as thoughts ran through his mind. Tianzi's cultivation was at most in the heaven realm. It was impossible for him to completely awaken the heavenly Tao Emperor Sword. He must have used some kind of secret technique to activate the power of the heavenly Tao Emperor Sword and awaken it. This was a great crisis. In order to survive this crisis, the first thing to do was to block the heavenly Tao Emperor Sword and neutralize the extreme emperor's aura from the heavenly Tao Emperor Sword. Otherwise, once the boundary of the Yen Emperor cauldron was broken, Ling Xiao and the others would be turned into ashes under the heavenly Tao Emperor Sword's attack. Rumble. Tianzi came with the heavenly Tao Emperor Sword in his hand. Every step he took would cause the void to rumble and the heaven and earth to tremble. Chaotic mist rose from his feet and spread in the void. His eyes were cold as he locked onto Ling Xiao and the others. To be exact, he locked onto Zhao Ritian. The blazing murderous intent was not concealed at all. It was as though he would only stop after killing Zhao Ritian 1,000 or 10,000 times. The heavenly Tao Emperor Sword released a brilliant radiance like a meteor across the sky. It was gorgeous, but it contained a terrifying power that made people feel the threat of death. Kill! Ling Zhao's eyes flashed with a divine light as he roared. He soared into the sky, and a monstrous divine light gushed out from his body. He pushed his arms out, and in the vast chaotic light, a bright full moon rose into the sky. It looked bright and flawless, and it contained mysterious energy fluctuations. The power of the origin of the great Tao in the world swarmed over at this moment and surged into the full moon, causing it to become more and more resplendent and mysterious. It started to spin in the void and blocked the heavenly Tao Emperor Sword. A vast amount of energy exploded in the void. Rumble. The heavenly Tao Emperor Sword flew across the sky and collided with the full moon in an instant. Blazing divine radiance exploded in the void and swept out in all directions like a storm. Billions of divine radiance soared into the sky, containing the power of the great Tao origin. Then they were annihilated. The terrifying explosion seemed to have split the sky and earth apart, giving birth to an ancient world, causing a huge vacuum to appear in the void. The round moon seemed to be stuck to the heavenly Tao Emperor Sword. The two collided in the void and seemed to be in a stalemate. The heavenly Tao Emperor sword exploded with an unparalleled sharpness and streaks of sword chi swept across the void. However, they were all annihilated by the round moon. This is the jade plate of fate? Tianzi's eyes flashed as he said. He instantly recognized that the dazzling full moon was the legendary chaos treasure, the jade disc of good fortune. Ling Xiao originally had a fragment of the heavenly Tao Emperor sword. After devouring the Blood Demon Emperor sword, he obtained another fragment from the Blood Demon Emperor sword. The heavenly Tao Emperor sword had made the heavenly Tao Emperor sword more than half complete. It had been nourishing in Ling Xiao's primordial spirit. Ling Xiao originally did not want to use the Destiny Jade Disc, but the Heavenly Way Emperor Sword was too powerful. It could control all the Daos in the heavens. Only the Destiny Jade Disc, which could control the natural source of the great Tao in the heavens, could contend with it. Ling Xiao's face was slightly pale. Using the Heavenly Tao Emperor Sword had caused his primordial spirit to be greatly damaged. Although he had the protection of the Heavenly Tao Emperor Sword, Ling Xiao could feel the unparalleled sword radiance every time he clashed with it. His primordial spirit still suffered some injuries. Boom, boom, boom. The jade disc of fortune collided with the Heavenly Tao Emperor Sword in the void. The Heavenly Tao Emperor Sword, which had already awakened, was unable to do anything to this Chaos Supreme treasure. In the end, its awakened power was exhausted bit by bit, and the sharpness of the Heavenly Tao Emperor Sword gradually dissipated. I did not expect that you still have the Heavenly Tao Emperor Sword. It seems that I have underestimated you. You have given me another reason to kill you. Tianzi's eyes were filled with coldness as he stared at Ling Xiao. You want to kill me? Then let's cut the crap and see who's the real deal. Although Ling Xiao's face was slightly pale, his eyes were filled with fighting spirit. There was not a trace of fear in his eyes. A terrifying aura gushed forth from him, seemingly capable of annihilating the void. His entire person was as straight as a sword, filled with a powerful battle intent. Speaking of which, Tianzi had long harbored ill intentions towards him. Their grudge had already started back in the primal chaos ancient lands. You are not qualified to fight with Tianzi. Let me fight you. A cold voice resounded in the void. A tall and sturdy young man holding a Fengtian halberd walked out from behind Tianzi. He wore a black Qilin armor and held a Fengtian halberd. He looked valiant and his aura was unfathomable. His face was handsome but cold. His eyes contained a destructive aura. His entire body exuded an aura of nirvanic extermination. His fighting spirit was unparalleled. He was not at a disadvantage when facing Ling Xiao. Is it the Terminator Holy Son of the Terminator Heaven sect? Someone exclaimed in surprise. The #1 prodigy of the Terminator Heaven sect, an Earth realm expert who could break through the third limit and step into the Heaven realm at any time, stood out. That's right. Long Outyan, you are disrespecting Tianzi. You are disrespecting the Heavenly Emperor. You are a traitor to the human race. Why don't you obediently surrender? Another figure stood out. It was a young man in a white robe. His eyes were silver and he held a scepter in his hand. His aura was incomparably mysterious and flowed with the fluctuations of time. Sherbufan. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he realized that it was actually someone he knew. Sherbufan, the genius expert he had met in the School of Time and Space. However, he realized that although this person looked exactly the same as Sherbufan, his aura was somewhat different. It was as though he was all-encompassing and contained an incomparably terrifying energy fluctuation. Hee, brothers, why don't you leave this kid to me? Wouldn't it be better if I just slit his throat? A sinister voice sounded. It seemed to be erratic, making it impossible to figure out where it was. However, Ling Xiao could vaguely see that it was a faintly discernible black figure hiding in the void. It was as though it had merged with heaven and earth. Ordinary people would not be able to discover it at all. An expert of the darkness heavenly sect. Bush. Several other figures rushed out at the same time. Each of them had an unfathomable aura. Their eyes flickered with cold light as they surrounded Ling Xiao. Chapter 2253. The Supreme Talents of Myriad Buddha Temple, Destiny Shrine, Heavenly Curse Sect, and 5 Elements Heaven Sect had also made their moves. Other than Tianzi, there were a total of 7 Supreme Talents. Each of them was in the Earth Realm and their auras were extremely powerful. They locked onto Ling Xiao and were ready to strike at any time. You bastards want to bully us with your numbers? Do you really think we're afraid of you? The old goat was instantly enraged as his eyes flashed with ferocity. Let's fight then. Do you really think you can defeat us? Taoist Wu Yang sneered. Come on, let your grandfather Zhao Ritian kill you one by one. Do you really think you can rest easy after hugging Tianzi's thigh? Zhao Ritian was also enraged. He did not care that he was still recovering from his injuries as he exploded with a powerful aura. Although Jin Sei and Feng Qingyang did not say anything, their eyes were cold and murderous. They were ready for a big battle. Although facing Tianzi made them feel great pressure, it also stimulated their fighting spirit. They were ready to fight with their backs against the wall, regardless of life and death. You're courting death. Since you want to die, I'll grant you your wish. Tianzi's eyes were filled with murderous intent. With a flash of light in his palm, the Heavenly Emperor's sword flew back from the void and landed in his palm. He stood in the air with the Heavenly Emperor's sword in his hand. Sword essence rose around him and a peerless sword essence locked onto Ling Xiao and the rest. The 7 Supreme Talents' eyes were cold and filled with mockery. They looked as though they were going to defeat Ling Xiao and the rest. Rumble! At this moment, a blazing sword essence rose in the void. It was vast and majestic, and it contained the aura of life and death. The sword essence was extremely pure. Tianzi, do you dare to fight? An indifferent and calm voice rang out in the void like a thunderclap, causing everyone to involuntarily raise their heads. In the void, a young man in a black robe flew over. The sword essence around him was extremely pure and sharp, as though it could shatter everything. Especially his eyes. They were like a peerless divine sword that was unsheathed. They were extremely blazing. It's him! The old goat and Taoist Wu Yang shuddered. Their eyes were filled with surprise and joy. Who are you? Tianzi's eyes narrowed as he stared at the black-robed young man. He could sense that although the black-robed young man was only at the Earth Realm, he gave off an aura that made him feel threatened. Dugu Qiubai. The black-robed young man said indifferently. Dugu Qiubai had arrived. Ling Xiao smirked. He knew that Dugu Qiubai had arrived when the sword intent of life and death pierced through the sky. Ling Xiao didn't expect Dugu Qiubai to come to his aid at a time like this. This made him feel a sense of warmth in his heart. Dugu Qiubai? What an arrogant name. Are you here to save Long Outyen? He was overestimating himself. Since you're here, let's die together with him. Tianzi said indifferently. Tianzi, aren't you afraid of being struck by lightning for being so pretentious? All of a sudden, another voice rang out in the void, containing a faint mocking fluctuation. A figure came from afar and appeared in front of Ling Xiao and the others in an instant. His face was filled with arrogance as he stood with his hands behind his back. He was even more arrogant than Zhao Ritian. However, he was too ugly. He was so ugly that no one could describe him with words. Yi Liangchen? Ling Zhao's eyes revealed a strange look. Yi Liangchen had left without saying goodbye previously, and Ling Xiao did not expect him to come to the chaotic ancient land. Now that he heard that Ling Xiao was in danger, he came to his aid. Who is this guy? It's fine that he's so ugly, but he's even more arrogant than me? Zhao Ritian was instantly attracted by Yi Liangchen as he asked the old goat. Cough cough. I don't know him either. However, I heard from Ling Xiao that this guy is called Yi Liangchen. He has the saint constitution of misfortune and his words are law. He can bring misfortune to others. He's a jinx. You better stay away from him. The old goat coughed and said, Jinx? Words are law? I, Zhao Ritian, am the son of fortune. Why would I be afraid of him? Zhao Ritian's eyes revealed a look of disbelief as he laughed proudly. Boom. However, just as he finished his sentence, he heard the rumbling of thunder in the void. Lightning flashed across the sky. Suddenly, a gigantic black thunderbolt that contained the power of destruction came crashing down on Tianzi. This gave Zhao Ritian a huge fright. Tianzi frowned. The thunderbolt came out of nowhere. He did not feel anyone attacking him. It was as if the thunderbolt had fallen naturally and landed on his head. Boom! He waved his sleeves and the thunderbolt was instantly absorbed into his sleeves, dissipating into nothingness. On the other hand, Zhao Ritian and the old goat looked at each other. They suddenly thought of what Yi Liangchen said when he arrived. Did he really get struck by the thunderbolt? Zhao Ritian did not know if it was an illusion, but he saw Yi Liangchen smiling at him. Suddenly, he felt a chill down his spine. This bastard's saint constitution of misfortune was too strange. You lowly people. It's fine if you want to side with Tianzi, but how dare you bully my big brother? Aren't you afraid of being struck by lightning or burned to death when you walk out? Yi Liangchen pointed arrogantly at the Nirvana Saint's son and the other sky prides and sneered. Rumble. Suddenly, thunder rumbled in the void again. Bolts of lightning struck down on the 7 sky prides. There were even flames that spread out from the void and enveloped the 7 of them. The 7 sky prides naturally did not have the power to suppress everything like Tianzi. They were caught off guard and were instantly enveloped by the thunderbolt and flames. It took them a lot of effort to break through the thunderbolt and flames. All of them were in a sorry state. Tianzi was completely stunned as he looked at Yi Liangchen in disbelief. If the first time was a coincidence, what about the second time? Tianzi did not expect that bastard Yi Liangchen's mouth to be so powerful. His words were law. Could it be that he was the true son of the heavenly Tao? Don't worry, big brother. With me, Yi Liangchen, here today, no one can hurt you. Even if it's Tianzi. Do you want me to kill this bastard for you? Yap Liangchen descended from the sky and hugged Ling Xiao's shoulder affectionately. He looked extremely arrogant and proud. Ling Xiao nodded. Ling Xiao nodded. You're getting better at talking after not seeing you for so long. Ling Xiao did not know whether to laugh or cry. However, he still smiled and nodded at Duguchubai. It felt good to be able to see these old friends again. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. However, at this moment, a few more air-piercing sounds came from the void. A few figures with powerful auras appeared in the void. Chapter 2254. Whoever dares to touch Long Outyen will be the enemy of my Pangu celestial handle. A majestic voice exploded in the void, containing a majestic and vast aura. Among the figures in the void, the leader was a burly man dressed in animal skin. His aura was unfathomable, and his eyes were majestic and mysterious, as if he had a world of chaos. His face was resolute, with thick eyebrows and big eyes. His body was muscular, and his bronze skin was suffused with an immortal luster, as if it was cast in gold and iron, full of explosive power. When he appeared in the void, the surrounding Zhou Tian rumbled, as if the origin of the great Tao was humming. Senior brother? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and he immediately revealed a look of incomparable surprise. The burly man in animal skin was Pangu's celestial handle. Ling Xiao never thought that Pangu's celestial handle would appear here. Previously, the elders of the Pangu clan took Pangu's celestial handle away, saying that it was to receive the inheritance. Now that Pangu's celestial handle had appeared, it must have completely received the inheritance of Great Emperor Pangu. Ling Xiao could sense that the Pangu celestial gang's cultivation had reached the 3rd heaven, and it contained a vast and terrifying power. It was the power of the emperor's bloodline, and it seemed to be able to tear the sky apart. Ling Xiao also recognized the 3 figures behind Pangu's celestial handle. They were Pangu Feng, Li Qingyun, and Mu Yuanxing. However, all 3 of them had the cultivation of sages at this moment. Pangu's celestial handle? You are the son of Great Emperor Pangu? Tianzi's eyes flashed, looking at Pangu's celestial handle, and said indifferently. He seemed to be able to sense the aura of Pangu's celestial handle, and instantly discovered the vast bloodline power of Pangu's celestial handle. Thus, you are the son of the Heavenly Emperor? As the son of the Heavenly Emperor, instead of helping the weak and fighting against the devil race, You are here to eliminate dissidents and deal with the geniuses of the human race. If the Heavenly Emperor is resurrected, I'm afraid he will be angered to death by an unfilial son like you. Pengu's celestial handle looked coldly at Tianzi. I don't need you to teach me how to do things here. Long Outyen colluded with the Devil Clan, and I dealt with him for the safety of the humankind. I didn't think that you, the son of Emperor Pangu, would be willing to join Long Outyen. Aren't you afraid of embarrassing Emperor Pangu? Tianzi said faintly. His expression did not change at all. I am the son of great Emperor Pangu and a disciple of the War God Temple. Long Outyen is the master of the War God Temple. There is nothing wrong with me protecting him. Cut the crap. Since you insist on dealing with him, I really want to see how strong the so-called Son of Heaven is. The Pangu Celestial Gang's eyes flashed with a sharp light as a terrifying aura rose around him, filled with an incomparably strong fighting spirit. At this moment, a dragon's roar shook the sky. It contained a majestic and mysterious aura. A terrifying dragon's might erupted, causing the sky to tremble violently. Several figures came from the sky, each of them exuding an extremely powerful saint aura. They were 4 old men with white hair and beards. They wore dragon robes and held dragon halberds in their hands. Their faces were incomparably majestic, and the aura around them was unfathomable. They were 4 powerful saints. In front of them stood a little girl. She looked chubby and very cute. Her big eyes were clear and flawless, and her entire body exuded an incomparably pure aura. Big brother, Xiao Xiao is here to protect you. Tell me which bad guy bullied you, and I'll let the 4 dragon grandpas tear them apart. The little girl's eyes lit up when she saw Ling Xiao. She looked extremely excited as she turned into a stream of light and rushed into Ling Xiao's arms. Long Xiao Xiao? What are you doing here? Ling Xiao couldn't help but hug the cute little girl in front of him. He was slightly stunned. This little girl was the little princess of the Dragon Clan, Long Xiao Xiao. He didn't expect her to rush over after hearing that Ling Xiao was in trouble. Ling Xiao was both surprised and touched. Hee, big brother, are you very happy to see Xiao Xiao? Of course, father asked me to come. I didn't sneak out. Did these bad guys bully you? Why don't you let Xiao Xiao help you vent your anger? Long Xiao Xiao stuck out her cute little tongue and said hurriedly. When Ling Xiao heard Long Xiao Xiao's words and looked at the 4 helpless Dragon Clan elders, he immediately knew that Long Xiao Xiao had probably sneaked out again. He couldn't help but find it funny. Young Master Long, the little princess heard that you were being chased by the Demon Clan, so she rushed over to help you. However, it seems that the ones who are after you aren't from the Demon Clan, but the people from the Human Clan. A white-haired Dragon Clan elder explained. His gaze fell on Tianzi and the others, and his eyes were filled with deep meaning. Senior, you must be joking. However, they are still no match for me. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. He could naturally hear the deep meaning in the Dragon Clan elders' words. These Dragon Clan elders probably recognized Tianzi's identity and wouldn't act rashly. Big brother, don't worry. Xiao Xiao is very powerful now. If they dare to bully you, I'll kill them with one punch. Long Xiao Xiao raised her little fist as if she was presenting a treasure and said with a smile. Boom. As if she was afraid that Ling Xiao wouldn't believe her, she raised her pink little fist and punched towards the void in the distance. Suddenly, a golden dragon claw expanded in the void and flew towards a floating mountain in the distance. That floating mountain was tens of thousands of feet tall and had a majestic aura. However, when it was struck by that golden dragon claw, it rumbled and trembled violently before turning into dust. Xiao Xiao is so powerful. Ling Xiao was slightly astounded in his heart. At this moment he finally started to take Long Xiao Xiao seriously. He noticed that Long Xiao Xiao's cultivation had actually already reached the 3rd level of heaven treading, and the strength of this attack was already sufficient to kill an expert at the 3rd level of heaven treading. Ling Xiao saw that the Yuanshan Saint and the other geniuses of the 8 great sacred grounds had a slight change of expression, and a trace of fear appeared in their eyes. Oh my God, isn't this little girl too powerful? Is the princess of the Dragon Clan so abnormal? Everyone was secretly shocked, and their eyes were filled with disbelief. Who is this Long Outyin? Why are there so many people helping him? I'm not sure. Pangutangang is the son of great Emperor Pangu. Yi Liangshan is said to be the disciple of a reclusive almighty. Duguchubai is the successor of the Hero Alliance and is said to be a peerless sword genius. Now, there's the little princess of the Dragon Clan. How can Long Outyin be so powerful? I'm afraid this battle is going to be difficult. With so many people helping Long Outyin, I'm afraid the Emperor will have to think twice. Everyone was discussing, and they were all stunned by the lineup in front of them. Originally, it seemed that Ling Xiao and the others would be suppressed by the Emperor, and there was no surprise at all. However, it seemed that the strength of Ling Xiao's side wasn't any weaker than the Emperor's side. Especially Pangutangang, the son of great Emperor Pangu, who was the son of great Emperor Pangu. Regardless of status, he wasn't any weaker than the Emperor. Chapter 2255. Rumble. In the void, a powerful aura rose and the atmosphere became extremely heavy. Ling Xiao and Tianzi's eyes clashed across the void. Both of them were emitting an extremely powerful battle intent. Their auras collided and surged violently, causing the surrounding void to tremble violently. Ling Xiao's side had Duguqiubai, Pangutangang, Zhao Ritian, Long Xiaoxiao and the others. Their strength was not weak and was not much weaker than the people that Tianzi had gathered. Tianzi understood that it was impossible for him to kill Ling Xiao today, but he still had to fight. As the son of the Heavenly Emperor, he had his own supreme pride. Whether it was the other imperial princes or the other monstrous geniuses in the universe, they were all suppressed by his brilliance. They were all in awe of his name. He was the most dazzling peerless genius in the universe. Even if he couldn't kill Ling Xiao, he wanted to use this battle to tell everyone that he, Tianzi, was still the strongest. Ling Xiao's eyes were calm and deep. His battle intent soared. The grudge between him and Tianzi had started even before they had entered the primal chaos ancient lands. He could sense how strong Tianzi was. It was an indescribable feeling, as though they were destined enemies. However, Ling Xiao also knew that if he couldn't deal with the Heavenly Emperor sword in Tianzi's hand, he wouldn't be able to have a real battle with Tianzi. Since the Fortune Jade disc had been exposed, Ling Xiao was prepared to use it to block the Heavenly Emperor sword in Tianzi's hand and have a great battle with him. At this moment, Tianzi's body suddenly trembled. His eyes revealed a look of disbelief. In an instant, monstrous anger surged. He was furious to the extreme. Demon race remnant, how dare you kill the human race guardian and steal my human race seal? If I don't kill you 1,000 times, I won't be able to vent my anger. Tianzi roared towards the sky. A terrifying aura rose around him, causing the void to tremble violently. Then it exploded with a loud bang. Terrifying chaotic light rose from his body. His black hair fluttered in the wind, and a monstrous murderous aura erupted from his body. What? The human race seal was stolen? Tianzi's words shocked the crowd. The human clan seal had always been regarded as the exclusive property of the Son of Heaven. If it weren't for certain reasons, he would have long seized the human clan seal and refined it. This era was the era of the human clan. If one could obtain the human clan mark, the chances of becoming the chosen one in the final battle for the creation would naturally increase greatly. Everyone agreed that no one was more suitable than the son of the Celestial Emperor to obtain the human race mark. But now, the Son of Heaven was saying that the human race seal was snatched away by the remnants of the demon race? In the holy city of the human race. Black demonic light surged, forming a huge boundary, enveloping a black-robed youth and a white-haired old man. The black-robed youth's black demonic saber pierced through the old man's chest. Terrifying dark demonic chi spread out from the old man's body. The old man's eyes were filled with disbelief and horror. At this moment, the black-robed young man slowly extended an arm and broke open the old man's chest. He then grabbed a pure white ancient seal from the old man's heart. How did you break the invincible barrier of the human race? I'm invincible, I'm invincible. The old man let out an incomparably miserable cry. His eyes were filled with horror. The white-haired old man was naturally the guardian of the holy city of the human race. Today, an uninvited guest had come to the holy city of the human race. Not only had he defeated and taken control of the guardian in an instant, he had even accurately found the location of the human race seal and cruelly dug it out from the guardian's heart. Nothing is impossible because you're not the true guardian of the human race. At best, you're just a servant of the human race seal. Let me tell you a secret. I'm also a human. The black-robed youth was tall and handsome. He had a sinister smile on his face. His eyes, in particular, contained a dark vortex that seemed to be able to devour all light. The black demonic saber in his hand lifted the guardian of the human race. His eyes were filled with surprise as he held the human race seal in his hand. I've finally obtained the human race seal. With the human race seal, the chances of my original body becoming the chosen one will be greatly increased. The black-robed youth muttered to himself. He was none other than Dark Soaring Cloud. After obtaining the inheritance of the sky-splitting centipede, Dark Soaring Cloud's cultivation had not only reached the third heaven in one fell swoop, but he had also learned many secrets of the chaotic ancient land. He had used an extremely strange method to dissolve the invincible power of the guardian of the human race and then snatch the human race seal from him. Without the human race seal, the guardian of the human race was just an ordinary sage. He was no match for Dark Soaring Cloud at all. To human. This is impossible. This is impossible. For you. The guardian of the human race shouted in horror. His eyes were filled with despair. He stared at Dark Soaring Cloud, his eyes filled with indignation and anger. He could feel the extremely dense dark demonic chi around Dark Soaring Cloud. This was the unique aura of the demon race. How could he be a human? He could not figure out that Dark Soaring Cloud was a clone of Dark Soaring Cloud. Childish. But before you die, I can fulfill your wish. I'm the undying prince. My true identity is the peerless genius of the Chinese race. Compared to me, the so-called Son of Heaven is not even worthy of carrying my shoes. Dark Soaring Cloud smiled evilly. Then, the dark demonic saber in his hand suddenly erupted with a terrifying light. In an instant, the guardian of the human race's body exploded into powder in the void. His soul had completely dissipated. I've saved my original body again. My original body is too weak now. I can't even defeat the Son of Heaven. If it weren't for the fact that I can't expose my identity, I would have wrung the Son of Heaven's head with my own hands. Dark Soaring Cloud muttered to himself in an indiscernible voice. Then he turned into a demonic light and shot out of the human race's holy city. Behind him, a rain of blood and broken limbs were everywhere. He had killed all the enforcers in the human race's holy city. The reason why Dark Soaring Cloud had said those words before the guardian of the human race's death and even framed the undying prince was that he could sense that the Son of Heaven's soul was in the guardian of the human race. Although it was very hidden, it could not escape his perception at all. He wanted to know how furious the Son of Heaven would be when he found out that the human race seal had been snatched away. Chapter 2256. Tianzi was indeed furious. Through the divine clone he left in the guardian of the human race, he knew that the guardian of the human race was killed and the human race seal was snatched away. He could also vaguely sense the location of the evil demon race. The human race seal was his exclusive property. In his opinion, only he, the son of the Emperor of Heaven, was worthy of the human race seal. He was the only one chosen by heaven. Now that the human race seal was snatched away, he was instantly infuriated. He no longer had any thoughts of tangling with Ling Xiao and the rest. He immediately wanted to leave this place and chase after the evil demon race. Did you succeed? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as a cold smile appeared on his lips. Tianzi was plotting against him, but how would Tianzi know that he was plotting against Tianzi as well? He and Darkness Ling Xiao were telepathic and had already planned to snatch the human race seal. This time, after Ling Xiao guessed that Tianzi might ambush him, He had already planned with Darkness Ling Xiao. While the human race's Saint City was empty, Darkness Ling Xiao killed his way into the human race's Saint City, quickly killed the guardian of the human race, snatched the human race seal, and left. Therefore, it was hard to say who was the Oriole in this ambush. Long Outyen, I will spare your life today. If I find out that you are colluding with the demon race, even if you have 10 or 100 lives, I will kill you 10 or 100 times. Tianzi suddenly raised his head and looked coldly at Ling Xiao. He immediately kept the Heavenly Tao Emperor sword and wanted to leave this place. Tianzi, didn't you want to kill me? Why are you leaving so soon? I also want to see just how strong the son of the Celestial Emperor is. Why don't we decide the victor today? Ling Xiao smiled faintly. The secret technique under his feet flashed, and in an instant, the void trembled slightly. He stood in front of Tianzi, blocking him. The good fortune jade disc floated above Ling Xiao's head like a bright full moon. It emitted a bright radiance, making Ling Xiao look ethereal and otherworldly. An unparalleled battle intent emanated from his body. You dare to stop me? Scram. Tianzi's eyes turned cold, and the Heavenly Tao Emperor sword appeared in his palm. An ancient and mysterious aura was released, and the sword chi swept in all directions. In an instant, it slashed down towards Ling Xiao. He was so angry that he didn't want to stay here for even a moment longer. He wanted to return to the holy city of the human race immediately, hunt down that abominable demon, and take back the human race seal. Therefore, he was extremely ruthless in his attacks, forcing Ling Xiao away before leaving this place. Rumble. There was a glint in Ling Xiao's eyes. The jade plate of fate instantly gave off a brilliant brilliance. Rays of divine light rose up like divine chains of order. They interweaved into a huge net and went towards the Heavenly Tao Emperor sword. Although the creation jade disc was incomplete, it was still a chaos treasure after all. At that moment, under Ling Xiao's full power, it unleashed an extremely powerful force and clashed with the Heavenly Way Emperor sword. The void shook violently. The good fortune jade disc looked crystal clear and flawless like the cold moonlight. When it collided with the Heavenly Tao Emperor sword, a crisp sound erupted. The mysterious sound wave spread out, causing everyone in the surroundings to tremble violently. They couldn't help but retreat quickly. When the two treasures clashed, just the fluctuation alone was hard to resist. The creation jade disc annihilated all the sword chi of the Heavenly Tao Emperor sword. In an instant, it clashed with the Heavenly Tao Emperor sword in the void. Tianzi, take my punch. Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with sharpness as he roared and threw a punch at Tianzi. The dragon roar shook the heavens, causing the surrounding sky to tremble violently. Chaotic light rose around Ling Xiao. It was as though there was an immemorial ancestral dragon traversing the 9 heavens and charging towards Tianzi. After Ling Xiao's cultivation had broken through to the 3rd heaven realm, his physical body was extremely powerful. Even the secret skill of the ancestral dragon had reached the great perfection realm, allowing him to condense the ancestral dragon's body. At that moment, he unleashed his strongest combat strength. The ancestral dragon's body burst out majestically. The desolate dragon roar shook the 9 heavens and 10 lands, causing everyone's expression to change abruptly. Secret skill of the ancestral dragon. This is indeed the secret skill of the ancestral dragon. The 4 elders behind Long Xiaoxiao involuntarily exclaimed. Their expressions were incomparably solemn. Hee, for elders, am I right? Big Brother also has the bloodline of our dragon clan. This secret skill of the ancestral dragon might be a peerless secret skill passed down from his bloodline. If we bring Big Brother back to the dragon clan, our father will definitely be happy. Long Xiaoxiao said with a childish voice. Her eyes were filled with excitement. To obtain the inheritance of the secret skill of the ancestral dragon, one must at least have the bloodline of the ancestral dragon. Could this Long Outyen really have the bloodline of our dragon clan? This matter is of great importance. After leaving the chaotic ancient land, we must immediately inform the patriarch. The 4 elders of the dragon clan looked at each other and said, no one knew the meaning of the ancestral dragon's bloodline better than them. Currently, Only the patriarch and Long Xiao had the ancestral dragon's bloodline in the entire dragon clan. For the demon clan, the use of the bloodline was unimaginable. If one possessed the bloodline of the ancestral dragon in the dragon clan, one would have the hope of peering into the supreme god realm and becoming an existence comparable to the ancestral dragon of the primordial era. However, without the ancestral dragon's bloodline, the limit of cultivation was only the saint realm. Therefore, the ancestral dragon's bloodline was extremely useful to the dragon clan. With the ancestral dragon's bloodline, there was hope for them to become an emperor. Boom! In the face of Ling Zhao's ancestral dragon fist, a sharp light flashed in Tianzi's eyes. He also threw a punch at Ling Xiao. A mighty fist mark burst out and instantly pierced through the boundless chaos. It created a heaven and earth in the chaos and evolved into a myriad of creatures. Vaguely, Tianzi's body seemed to be surrounded by the myriad of worlds. When his fist landed, it could suppress billions of creatures and kill the gods and devils in the sky. The fist of the heavenly emperor? Ling Zhao's eyes flickered. He could feel the powerful fist intent. As the son of the heavenly emperor, Tianzi had indeed obtained the heavenly emperor's ultimate technique. His first move was the fist of the heavenly emperor that could suppress everything. The fist intent around Ling Xiao rose. In an instant, 3,000 ancient worlds appeared in the terrifying chaotic light. This caused the roar of a dragon to shake the heavens. The power of his fist reached its peak and suddenly collided with Tianzi's fist. Rumble! The void directly shattered. One world after another was annihilated. A terrifying divine light storm swept out in all directions and crushed everything. Although I don't know where you obtained the heavenly emperor's fist intent, don't use this kind of fist technique to embarrass yourself. Tianzi's indifferent voice resounded in the void. Rumble! His aura was like a rainbow. His fist mark was unparalleled. In an instant, it pierced through the chaos and broke through the storm. His fist directly pierced towards Ling Zhao's chest. Chapter 2257. The Heavenly Emperor's Fist was the strongest fist technique created by the Heavenly Emperor. It was also known as the #1 fist technique in the world. At the beginning of the human race era, the Heavenly Emperor had even passed down the Heavenly Emperor's fist to many human race experts to cultivate. However, the Heavenly Emperor's fist was all-encompassing and mysterious. Furthermore, it required a high aptitude. Therefore, not many people were able to cultivate it successfully. Tianzi naturally received the most complete inheritance of the Sky Emperor's fist. He saw that although Ling Zhao's fist contained the fist intent of the Sky Emperor's fist, it was completely different from the real Sky Emperor's fist. That was why he mocked him. Is that so? The Heavenly Emperor's fist focuses on the intent and not the form. Once you understand the true intent of the Heavenly Emperor's fist, everyone can become a Heavenly Emperor. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His expression was extremely calm. Boom! Tianzi's fist pierced through his chest. His body exploded into nothingness in the void. However, Tianzi's attack was only an afterimage. Ling Zhao's real body had already used the greater teleportation technique and disappeared from the spot. This technique was the true illusion technique of the greater teleportation technique. It was a well-tested technique that had fooled many people. Even sages could not tell where Ling Zhao's real body was. Boom! Ling Zhao's figure appeared above Tianzi's head. A terrifying aura rose around him. 3,000 great worlds appeared in the chaotic light. His fist pressed down as if 3,000 worlds had fallen at the same time. It contained an unparalleled power that could suppress everything. Preposterous! How dare you talk about the Heavenly Emperor's fist? Tianzi was a little angry. His eyes were cold, and the blood qi around him surged like the sea, containing a destructive power. He did not dodge or evade. Instead, he welcomed Ling Zhao's punch with a punch. Kacha! Blazing chaotic light exploded. Tianzi and Ling Xiao were like two ancient worlds colliding. They were annihilated at the same time. Boundless divine light gushed out as if it was the end of the world. Long Outyen, the undying prince, has taken the human race seal. Yet you're here to pester me. I see that you've colluded with the undying prince. Everyone has the right to kill the remnants of the demon race. Tianzi's eyes were filled with killing intent. As if he had thought of something, he roared and charged towards Ling Xiao. I colluded with the undying prince? What a joke! You purposely let the original prince and the undying prince go. How dare you call yourself the son of the emperor? I see that you're the remnants of the demon race. Ling Xiao sneered, not to be outdone. Boom, boom, boom. He and Tianzi clashed violently in the air, like two hurricanes intertwining and tangling with each other, containing terrifying energy fluctuations. The battle was extremely intense. Tian believed undying prince's emperor's seal. This was what Ling Xiao's goal. Naturally, he wouldn't admit that it was related to the loss of the human mark, but he still tried his best to stop Tianzi, wanting to buy enough time for darkness' soaring cloud. Emperors emperors, heavenly emperors as. Emperors marshal to kill emperor of the heaven emperor, to kill to marshal to the heaven to kill. The saints and sky prides of the 8 great saintlands looked at Ling Xiao coldly. They were filled with killing intent as they charged towards Ling Xiao. They were all Tianzi's followers. Naturally, they did not hesitate to attack. Whoever dares to touch junior brother Long will be my Pangu celestial body's enemy. Pangu's celestial body roared. His eyes were filled with killing intent. An ancient battle axe appeared in his hand as he charged towards the crowd. Sush. Duguchiobai looked indifferent, but his eyes were as sharp as a peerless divine sword. His entire body shot out like a sword radiance. Then he unsheathed his divine sword and charged towards the crowd as if he was going to tear the world apart. Zhao Ritian, Old Goat, Jin Sei, Yap Liangshan, Long Xiaoxiao and the others all attacked. Rumble. In the void, dozens of powerful figures were moving around. Terrifying divine light ripples burst out. Sword radiance filled the sky as powerful weapons swept across the sky, creating a terrifying divine light storm. This was a chaotic battle between peerless sky prides. It was like a rehearsal for the final battle. The terrifying power was like a destructive thunderbolt that wreaked havoc between the heavens and earth. Tianzi, on the other hand, was a little anxious. He could feel that the connection of that sliver of consciousness was getting weaker and weaker. If he didn't leave in time, he would really lose track of that demon powerhouse. The human race seal must be in his hands. For that, he was willing to pay any price. Ling Xiao's entanglement had infuriated Tianzi. He could not wait to kill Ling Xiao. However, he knew that Ling Xiao was extremely powerful. Even if he was confident that he could defeat Ling Xiao, it was not a battle that could be decided in a few moves. Especially Ling Xiao's creation jade disc. He was jealous but helpless at the same time. Long Outyan, I'll kill you one day. Tianzi's eyes were filled with killing intent. In an instant he soared into the sky. His palms were filled with pure golden blood radiance. In an instant, terrifying energy ripples burst out like a tsunami. Whether it was the heavenly emperor's sword or the celestial emperor's war chariot, they burst out with dazzling light. Vast emperor's aura intertwined in the sky. The power was terrifying to the extreme. Rumble. The heavenly way emperor's sword swelled violently in the void. The sharp sword light broke through everything in an instant and slashed the jade plate of good fortune, breaking apart the power of origin of the great path that spread out from the jade plate of good fortune. The heavenly emperor's sword spewed out boundless sword radiance like a huge sword chi wall, blocking Ling Xiao and the others outside. Rumble. Everyone's attacks suddenly blasted on the sword chi wall. Even the good fortune jade disc soared into the sky and collided with the heavenly Dao Emperor sword. However, the sword chi wall was stronger than expected. Although it was trembling violently, it eventually blocked everyone's attacks. Sush. The golden dragon and golden phoenix in front of the celestial emperor's war chariot seemed to have awakened. They burst out with terrifying energy ripples. They were ferocious and arrogant. Tianzi jumped onto the celestial emperor's war chariot. At the same time, the war chariot burst out with powerful devouring power and sucked all the saints and sky prides of the 8 great saint lands into the war chariot. Kacha. In the next moment, the celestial emperor's war chariot broke through the void and disappeared into the void. This is the so-called son of the celestial emperor? He ran away in such a sorry state? The old mountain goat laughed proudly. He's not running away. I'm afraid he's chasing after that demon race expert to take back the human race seal. But I'm afraid he's going to be disappointed. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. There was a hint of mockery in his eyes. Even if Tianzi rushed back to the human race's Saint City, he wouldn't be able to find Dark Ling Xiao. Tianzi was destined not to get the human race seal. Chapter 2258. Above the vault of heaven, the brilliant river of stars sprinkled down a resplendent radiance, dyeing the tranquil night into a dreamy color. Next to a clear lake, a bonfire burned brightly. Fireflies danced on the grass, illuminating everyone's faces. Huge demonic beast meat was being roasted over the bonfire. There were all kinds of delicacies, rare fruits, and a few jars of wine that had already been opened. A rich wine fragrance filled the air, causing everyone to feel intoxicated. Ling Xiao, Jin Sei, the old goat, Duguqiubai, Yi Liangchen, Zhao Ritian, and Long Xiaoxiao were casually sitting on the grass. Their expressions were very relaxed as they toasted with each other. Meeting old friends was always a wonderful thing, worthy of celebration and anticipation. After the battle with Tianzi, although that battle seemed to have a strong start and a weak finish, the danger still made everyone feel some lingering fear. Tianzi was definitely the son of the Heavenly Emperor. Not only did he have the Heavenly Emperor scripture, but he also had supreme treasures like the Heavenly Emperor sword and the Heavenly Emperor chariot. In the end, Tianzi was forced into a corner by Ling Xiao. Even the jade disc of fortune couldn't break through the sword energy wall formed by the Heavenly Emperor sword. Everyone had an incomparably direct understanding of Tianzi's strength. Brother Dugu, I didn't expect your life sword intent and destruction sword intent to reach this level after not seeing you for a few years. Congratulations. Ling Xiao touched his cup with Duguqiubai's and said with a tinge of emotion. He then drank his cup in one gulp. He could feel that Duguqiubai was only in the earth realm, but the life and destruction sword wills intertwined inside his body. They were beginning to condense into one, gradually nurturing a vast and mysterious origin of the great Tao. His foundation was incomparably strong. Duguqiubai was purposely suppressing his cultivation. Otherwise, he could break through to the heaven realm at any time and even become a saint. Ling Xiao, your improvement is the greatest. In just a few years, you have broken through the limit 3 times in a row. Many ancient geniuses are not as good as you. However, you must be careful of Tianzi. I feel that he is not simple. Duguqiubai slowly said with a sharp sword glint in his eyes. I was just lucky enough to obtain some opportunities. As for Tianzi, he gave me a very strange feeling. Although he used the Heavenly Emperor's fist earlier, I always felt that it was a bit stagnant and incomplete. It felt like it was forcefully grafted, very strange. Ling Xiao smiled. When he mentioned Tianzi, there was a strange look in his eyes. Weird? I didn't feel it, but I know that if that Tianzi didn't escape, he wouldn't be a match for me. It's a pity that Tianzi escaped too quickly. Otherwise, Liangchen wouldn't mind playing with him and letting him know my prowess. Yap Liangchen leaned his head forward and said drunkenly. What shameless boasting! Zhao Ritian sneered. There was a hint of disdain in his eyes. He did not know why he did not like Yi Liangchen. He felt that Yi Liangchen's arrogance made him unhappy. He seemed to see his own shadow in Yi Liangchen. What? I, Yi Liangchen, have the saint physique of misfortune. Do you believe that with a snap of my fingers, heaven will punish you and destroy your soul? Yap Liangchen stared at Zhao Ritian and said incoherently. Do you think that I, Zhao Ritian, will be scared? Saint physique of misfortune is nothing. I have the saint physique. I am protected by heaven and I am invincible. Even if you snap your fingers, I, Zhao Ritian, will still be unharmed. Zhao Ritian said with a proud smile. Zhao Ritian, how dare you act tough in front of me? Come. I will help my brother teach you a lesson today. Yap Liangshan stood up shakily with the wine glass in his hand and pointed at Zhao Ritian. Whoever doesn't dare to do it is a coward. Yap Liangshan, I will beat you up until your mother can't recognize you. Zhao Ritian said, not to be outdone. The two of them started to fight. Both of them were extremely prideful people. At this moment, it was like a needle meeting an awn. Neither of them was willing to back down. It was as if they were going to attack each other in a fight. Their faces were red and their necks were thick. It seemed like they were about to fight. Stop. Can the two of you stop for a moment? If you have the ability, go and fight with Tianzi. Why are you acting tough here? Go and drink your wine. Ling Xiao said with a bitter smile. He then pushed Yap Liangshan and Zhao Ritian down. These two fellows had drunk too much and were cursing incoherently. However, not long after, Ling Xiao saw these two fellows begin to put their arms around each other's shoulders. They looked even more intimate than real brothers, causing Ling Xiao to be dumbfounded. These two bastards are really birds of a feather, Ling Xiao said with a bitter smile. He decided to ignore them. Junior Brother Long, according to the news that I have received, I am afraid that the Chaos Battlefield will open soon. When the time comes, countless elites from all over the universe will fight for the position of the Chosen One. Although we all think highly of you, Tianzi is still your biggest enemy. You must be careful. Pangu Tiangang walked over with a wine jar and took a big gulp of wine. Then, he said to Ling Xiao seriously. His eyes were extremely bright. There will be a battle between Tianzi and me. I think it will be in the Chaos Battlefield. Don't worry, senior brother. If I meet Tianzi, I will do my best. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with a sharp glint as a strong fighting spirit filled the air. Today's battle with Tianzi was only the first contact. Although Ling Xiao felt that Tianzi was strong, he was not afraid at all. He was even looking forward to the battle. He was confident that he was not weaker than anyone, even Tianzi. If you want to enter the Chaos Battlefield, you must obtain an ancient seal. The human seal is the most suitable for Junior Brother Long. Unfortunately, it has fallen into the hands of the demon race. Pangu Tiangang said with some regret. Not necessarily. Don't worry, senior brother. The human seal will be here soon. Ling Xiao said with a smile. He did not hide it from Pangu Tiangang and the rest. Everyone present was Ling Xiao's brothers and friends who had gone through thick and thin with him. They were all worthy of his trust. Therefore, he did not hide it from them. However, he did not mention the existence of Dark Ling Xiao. Oh, I guessed that the disappearance of the human seal must have something to do with you. I didn't expect it to be true. Pangu Tiangong's eyes lit up and he immediately laughed. With the human seal, the Chosen One will definitely belong to Ling Xiao. The old goat said with a smile. He was very excited. Chapter 2259. Young Master Long, I have a presumptuous request. I hope young Master Long can agree to it. The four elders behind Long Xiaoxiao walked towards Ling Xiao, and one of them said with a sincere expression. Oh, what's the matter? Ling Xiao asked curiously. Young Master Long, you must have the ancestral dragon bloodline, right? I hope you can return to the dragon tribe with us after the chaotic ancient land. Although young Master Long is a human, you also have the dragon tribe's bloodline. You can be considered a member of the dragon tribe. I'm sure the Dragon King will be very happy to see you. The dragon tribe elder said with a smile. Ancestral dragon bloodline? Elder Long Outen should have the ancestral dragon bloodline. When I have the chance, I will naturally make a trip to the dragon tribe. Ling Xiao said with a strange expression. How could he have the ancestral dragon bloodline? He had indeed inherited the dragon tribe's bloodline from Long Hanyan, but it was only the true dragon bloodline at most. Moreover, he had half the human bloodline in his body, which was a little mixed. The reason why the dragon tribe elder thought he had the ancestral dragon bloodline was because he had cultivated the ancestral dragon's secret skill and formed the ancestral dragon's body. Strictly speaking, Ling Xiao did not have the true ancestral dragon's body because he only had the divine dragon's blood essence in his body and not the ancestral dragon's blood essence. With the ancestral dragon's blood essence as a guide, he could form the true ancestral dragon's body. However, Ling Xiao suddenly thought that his cousin, Long Outyin, might really have the ancestral dragon bloodline. He had such abnormal talent at such a young age. It was not something that could be explained by the true dragon bloodline or the divine dragon bloodline. Ling Xiao felt an aura similar to Long Outyin's from Long Xiaoxiao. It was the unique aura of the ancestral dragon bloodline. That's great. Thank you, young Master Long. We will wait for you in the dragon tribe. The dragon tribe elder heaved a sigh of relief and smiled. He did not understand the deeper meaning in Ling Xiao's words and thought that Ling Xiao had agreed to go to the dragon tribe. However, he did not know that Ling Xiao had only agreed on behalf of Long Outyin. Big brother, are you going to the dragon tribe? That's great. Long Xiaoxiao's eyes lit up as she cheered. Don't worry, I will definitely go. Ling Xiao said with a smile. Suddenly, Ling Xiao's eyes narrowed. The space before him shattered as a black streak of light pierced through it. A pure white ancient seal hung from it. It seemed ancient and mysterious. Ling Xiao instantly grabbed the ancient seal in his palm. Human seal. Ling Xiao's eyes lit up as he heaved a sigh of relief. In the end, dark soaring firmament still gave him the human race seal. However, he didn't sense any of dark soaring firmament's aura. This is the human clan seal? Duguqiubai, Pangdianggang, Yap Liangchen, Zhao Ritian, and the others had their eyes lit up. The human clan seal was indeed in Ling Xiao's hands. Ha! If that bastard Tianzi knows that the human race seal is in your hands, I'm afraid he'll vomit blood and die from anger. The old goat chuckled, his eyes filled with schadenfreude. Once you refine the human clan seal, you'll be able to inherit the destiny of the human race and become the hope of the human race. You'll be able to fight for the supreme position of the chosen one. Pangu Tiangang said slowly with a serious look. Let me try. The human clan seal has a spirit. I wonder if it will acknowledge me. Ling Xiao took a deep breath as he sent his powerful primordial spirit energy into the human clan seal. Rumble! The ancient seal trembled slightly as a vast and majestic spiritual energy burst out from it. Endless chaotic light rose, and an ancient and mysterious world seemed to appear within the ancient seal. As the aura of endless time passed, it was as if there was a scene of the human race struggling to survive, like ants struggling to survive. He saw the darkness of the human race in the beginning. They were reduced to food for the other races. There was no hope at all, only endless despair and humiliation. He saw the human race struggling to survive. They began to comprehend the heavens and earth. They began to learn from all living things in the heavens and earth. They even created powerful martial arts techniques and began to walk on the path of martial arts. He saw the human race fighting against the other races and challenging the gods and demons in order to prosper and not be bullied. They didn't even hesitate to shed blood in the sky, but they would still advance wave after wave. He saw the 9 thearchs of the human race. They were like 9 resplendent suns that lit up the path of the human race. They led the human race to conquer the other worlds, entered the central divine realm, and created a glorious era for the human race. The human tribe's seal seemed to contain the history of the human tribe and the imprint of time. Although the memories scattered in the long river of time were scattered, they still radiated the brilliance of humanity. Every human who saw it would feel their blood boil and never forget the past. Only by remembering the past could one better create the future. Ling Xiao felt that the human clan seal was thousands of kilograms heavy. It carried the history of the human race, as well as the countless heroic spirits that had sacrificed themselves for it. Rumble! Ling Xiao's powerful primordial spirit surged into the human clan seal. He wanted to refine the human clan seal and completely control it. When he saw the scenes in the human clan seal, Ling Xiao felt a strong sense of identity and belonging. He felt proud to be a member of the human race. As long as he could refine the human clan seal, his chances of becoming the chosen one would be much higher than others. Just as Ling Xiao was about to refine the human clan seal in one go, the human clan's seal suddenly trembled. An extremely powerful energy wave surged out of its body and bounced Ling Xiao's primordial spirit out as if it was unwilling to do so. What? Ling Xiao was stunned. He didn't expect the human clan's seal to have such a change. It was as if it was extremely against being refined by him. It even rejected his primordial spirit. Buzz! At this moment, the human clan's seal trembled slightly. It emitted an extremely dazzling light in the void, sprinkling down rays of beautiful light. It instantly soared into the sky and turned into a ray of light, flying towards Zhao Ritin. The human clan seal shone brilliantly, emitting an extremely human-like aura. It floated in front of Zhao Ritin like a puppy wagging its tail, eager to please its owner. Zhao Ritin was stunned. Everyone was stunned as well. Could it be that the human clan seal had become a spirit? Whoosh! While Zhao Ritin was still in a daze, the human race seal shot into Zhao Ritin's sea of consciousness between his eyebrows. Instantly, it fused with his primordial spirit and was automatically refined by Zhao Ritin. It was as though it was afraid that Zhao Ritin would not want it. Chapter 2260. Everyone was dumbfounded. This was a result that no one had expected. Just as Ling Xiao was about to refine the human race seal, the human race seal repelled Ling Xiao's primordial spirit. Then, it flew into Zhao Ritin's sea of consciousness at an extremely fast speed, allowing Zhao Ritin to refine it on its own. Ling Xiao stared at Zhao Ritin with his eyes wide open. He felt as though 10,000 divine beasts were galloping across his heart. Is this Zhao Ritin really the son of Tiandao? What kind of luck is this? The old goat mumbled softly. This guy is not easy to deal with. To be able to make my saint body of misfortune lose its effect, this Zhao Ritin is indeed not an ordinary person. Yi Liangchen rubbed his chin and said, he had sobered up a little. Cough cough. Ling Xiao, would you believe me if I told you that I didn't want to do this? Zhao Ritin coughed awkwardly. His face was filled with helplessness. He was also confused. He thought that Ling Xiao was about to become the guardian of the human race. Who would have thought that the human race seal would fly into his mind? Second Master, this isn't your doing, is it? Zhao Ritin thought of something and asked in his heart. Hee, aren't you thankful to me? Ling Xiao has taken all the benefits. It's more suitable to give the human race seal to you. It should be yours in the first place. The second elder chuckled. His voice was a little despicable, causing Zhao Ritin to be taken aback. Was it really Second Master's doing? Do you think we'll believe you? Zhao Ritin, I think you did it on purpose. Hurry up and hand over the human race seal. You stole your brother's treasure. Are you still human? The old goat glared at Zhao Ritin and said, I really didn't do it. This damned human race seal, it won't come out. Zhao Ritin smiled bitterly. He would not be able to clear his name even if he jumped into the Yellow River. He was going to be the scapegoat for this. Hearing Second Master's despicable laughter, Zhao Ritin gritted his teeth. He wanted to grab Second Master and beat him up. All right, I believe that he didn't do it on purpose. Perhaps the human tribe seal is really fated with him. Ling Xiao's expression was incomparably calm. He was not angry, but there was a strange look in his eyes. He could feel the human race seal's rejection towards him, its closeness and reliance towards Zhao Ritin. This wasn't because Zhao Ritin had done anything, it was because the human race seal had chosen Zhao Ritin. While Ling Xiao was amazed by Zhao Ritin's heaven-defying luck, he was even more curious about Zhao Ritin's identity. Just what kind of background did this guy have? Ling Xiao, my good brother, you know me best. Zhao Ritin's face was filled with gratitude. He wanted to hug Ling Xiao and give him a few kisses. Cut the crap. Zhao Ritin, you snatched Ling Xiao's human race mark. Are you going to send him off just like that? Quickly take out some treasures to compensate Ling Xiao. The old goat said. However, he was just teasing Zhao Ritin. He did not really want Zhao Ritin to compensate him. After all, if it wasn't for Zhao Ritin and his Emperor Yen Cauldron, Ling Xiao and the rest would have been in big trouble. This kind of life-saving grace was not something that could be compared to a mere human race seal. When Zhao Ritian heard the old goat's words, he seemed to have thought of something. His eyes lit up and he said, "Of course, I should compensate him. Come. These ancient seals were all plundered by me. Don't be shy, everyone can have one." As he spoke, a light flashed in Zhao Ritian's palm. Instantly, more than 10 dazzling, crystal-clear ancient seals floated in the void. Those ancient seals were colorful and all of them exuded an ancient and mysterious aura. Zhao Ritian had a heroic look on his face as he pushed the dozens of ancient seals in front of everyone. This time, everyone was stunned. These are the ancient seals of the various holy cities? How did you get so many ancient seals? Don't tell me you killed more than 10 holy city guardians? Ling Xiao stared at Zhao Ritian with his eyes wide open. Even he was shocked by Zhao Ritian's extravagance. More than 10 ancient seals floated in the void, emitting a dazzling light. It was so bright that everyone could not open their eyes. Everyone could not bear to look away. These were the ancient seals of the holy cities. One should know that there were only 108 holy cities in the entire chaotic ancient land. There were a total of 108 ancient seals. Only by refining an ancient seal and becoming a holy city guardian could one enter the chaotic battlefield. The competition for ancient seals was extremely intense now. Most of the ancient seals already had owners. It was extremely difficult to obtain an ancient seal. However, Zhao Ritian had actually thrown out more than 10 ancient seals, causing everyone to be dumbfounded. This is really blinding. Zhao Ritian, are these the ancient seals you obtained? How did you do it? The old goat asked curiously as he looked at Zhao Ritian. It's very simple. When I was in the chaotic ancient land, I accidentally exposed the Flame Emperor Cauldron. Those ignorant old men wanted to snatch the Flame Emperor Cauldron from me because they had the ancient seals. In the end, they were all killed by me. Naturally, the ancient seals became mine. The more people I killed, the more ancient seals I got. Those bastards even said that I created Chaos City. That's utter nonsense. If it weren't for the greed of those guardians, would I have killed so many of them? However, those guys were really weak. They couldn't even take a hit from the Flame Emperor Cauldron. They were crushed into meat paste. Zhao Ritian said proudly. He did not hesitate to talk about his glorious history. Everyone could not help but twitch their lips. Those guardians were just ordinary sages. Moreover, they had not completely refined the power of the ancient seals. How could they block an Apex Emperor weapon? This guy was too shameless. Zhao Ritian, are you really willing to give these ancient seals to everyone? Then we won't hold back. Ling Xiao said with a smile. You're welcome. These ancient seals are of no use to me at all. I'll give them to everyone. Zhao Ritian waved his hand and said generously. You're really a tycoon. Ling Xiao said with a smile. He did not hold back and began to distribute the ancient seals to everyone. Other than Taoist Wu Yang and a few others who had ancient seals, most of them had yet to obtain one. Initially, everyone was still worrying about how to obtain an ancient seal and enter the primal chaos battlefield. They did not expect Zhao Ritian to deliver so many ancient seals to everyone. Immediately, everyone chose the holy city ancient seal that they liked. A powerful aura exploded from their bodies. They poured the power of their primordial spirits into the ancient seals and sat down to refine them. What ancient seal is this? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed, and his gaze landed on a gray ancient seal. Chapter 2261. The gray ancient seal looked very ordinary. It was blurry and inconspicuous. However, Ling Xiao could feel the fluctuations of time from it. It was extremely weak and mottled. Ling Xiao was attracted to the gray ancient seal at first glance because he felt a familiar and intimate aura from it. Zhao Ritian, where did you get this ancient seal? Ling Xiao grabbed the gray ancient seal. It was cold to the touch and looked like a hard rock. It did not have any energy fluctuations unique to ancient seals. Are you talking about this thing? This was given to me by a crazy old Taoist. He said that this ancient seal was the most powerful ancient seal, but there was no way to refine it. I suspect that old man was lying to me. You don't need to care about this broken thing. This is the Spirit Clan seal, the most powerful ancient seal. You should refine this Spirit Clan seal. Zhao Ritian glanced at the gray ancient seal in Ling Zhao's hand and pursed his lips. Then he picked up a 5-colored ancient seal that was shrouded in spiritual light and auspicious vapor and handed it to Ling Xiao. The Spirit Clan was also one of the strongest clans in the myriad worlds. They had an extremely deep foundation, and the power of destiny contained in the human clan seal was naturally extremely strong. Zhao Ritian still felt bad for snatching Ling Zhao's human clan seal. Therefore, he wanted to compensate Ling Xiao with the Spirit Clan seal. No need. Let me try this ancient seal first. Ling Zhao's heart skipped a beat as he smiled. The origin of the gray ancient seal was indeed strange. This aroused Ling Zhao's curiosity. Furthermore, he instinctively felt that this ancient seal was not ordinary. Perhaps there were some secrets hidden within it. Buzz. Ling Xiao grabbed the gray ancient seal and a bright light shone from between his eyebrows. A powerful primordial spirit energy surged out and enveloped the gray ancient seal. He could easily check the interior of the gray ancient seal. It was an extremely ordinary ancient seal that was carved out of some kind of stone. Although it was extremely strong, Ling Xiao could not feel any power of destiny from it. The ancient seals of the 108 holy cities contain the destiny of the 108 powerful clans in the myriad worlds. Obtaining an ancient seal would allow one to be protected by the destiny of that clan. However, there was nothing in the ancient gray seal, which made Ling Xiao feel a little strange. You don't have to waste your energy. I've already checked it many times. This ancient seal is just an ordinary rock. Zhao Ritian advised. Zhao Ritian was not the only one who had checked the ancient seal many times. Even the second uncle had entered the ancient seal, but to no avail. That was why Zhao Ritian was certain that the ancient seal was very ordinary. Ling Xiao carefully checked a few more times, but still found nothing. Just when Ling Xiao was about to give up, the fortune jade disc in his sea of consciousness suddenly trembled. It gave off a powerful presence of origin energy, which shot out of Ling Zhao's forehead like chains of order before fusing with the gray seal. This change was beyond Ling Zhao's expectations. Rumble. In an instant, endless chaotic light gushed out from the ancient gray seal. It was as if the world was being created. Endless light illuminated the dark sky. The origin of the great path intertwined, evolving into yin and yang and the 5 elements. It was as if an ancient and mysterious world was being slowly opened up. A desolate and vigorous aura gushed out from the ancient seal. Ling Zhao's music could be seen from the ancient seal. When the world was being created, countless chaotic divine demons emerged from the chaos. Every divine demon had terrifying power that could destroy the world. They were omnipotent. They all had the same name. The God Tribe. That's right. Since the world was being created, the first innate race that was born in the world lock was the God Tribe. Legend had it that the myriad worlds was originally a huge world. However, due to the countless battles between the divine demons, the myriad worlds were pierced through and gradually evolved into the myriad worlds. The reason why the God Realm was the center of the myriad worlds was because it was formed from the largest fragment. It even buried countless chaotic divine demons and buried the fate of the entire God Tribe. Since the world was being created, the first era of the God Tribe was the era of the God Tribe. However, the era of the God Tribe was so far away that many people had forgotten about the era of the God Tribe and the origin of the God Realm. They had also forgotten the original appearance of the myriad worlds. In the past, Ling Xiao could only read a few words from the ancient records. But now, Ling Xiao saw the primal chaos splitting open, the ancient continent of the divine realm, countless chaotic divine demons, the terrifying existences of the antiquity times, the great war between the chaotic divine demons, the most glorious moment of the divine race's epic, and the destruction of the divine race's epic, with the good fortune jade disc as a guide. The gray ancient seal actually reproduced the scene of the divine race era. Ling Xiao also saw the vast and terrifying fate of the divine race. Even though countless years had passed, it was still vast and powerful. After all, the God tribe was a powerful race born from heaven and earth. Those chaotic divine demons would at least possess the power of a god when they were born. An adult chaotic divine demon could reach the cultivation level of a saint. The strongest among them would be saint kings and imperial emperors. Their talents were extremely heaven-defying. Whether it was the demon tribe, the human tribe, or the other powerful races in the myriad worlds, they were just races that were gradually formed. There was no way they could compare with the innate God tribe. Even if some races called themselves the God tribe, they were just putting gold on their faces. The true God tribe was the most powerful existence since the creation of the world. No other race could be compared to them. Rumble. Ling Xiao saw countless chaotic divine demons fighting in the sky. Blood was spilled, and the God tribe's continent was sunk into countless fragments. The corpses of the chaotic divine demons gradually gathered together, forming a vast and ancient battlefield. Evil chi intertwined and chaotic light filled the air. It floated in the endless void, waiting for something. So, this ancient seal is the God tribe's seal? Ling Xiao was shocked and thought to himself. He felt that he had discovered an incredible secret. Especially when he saw the countless chaotic divine demons' corpses gathering together to form a huge ancient battlefield, he was secretly shocked. The God tribe's seal emitted a gray chaotic light. It looked ancient and mysterious, flowing with the vicissitudes of time. It was as if an ancient and vast illusory world had appeared. Chapter 2262. Rumble. Just as Ling Xiao was refining the God clan mark, a terrifying aura suddenly erupted in the sky above the chaotic ancient land. Above the sky, endless chaotic light rose and an ancient battlefield emerged. It was filled with boundless evil aura. It looked ancient and mottled, as if it had gone through countless years. It exuded a majestic aura. When everyone saw this ancient battlefield, they felt their bodies tremble. They felt an incomparably palpitating aura. It was as if there were gods and demons pouncing on the crowd. They were filled with dense bloody light and murderous intent. Even those with a strong will turned pale and felt a great pressure. That's the chaotic battlefield? Old Goat exclaimed. He seemed to have thought of something and his eyes were filled with excitement. The demon clan mark between his eyebrows glowed faintly and formed a mysterious connection with the ancient battlefield above his head. He instantly understood that this ancient battlefield was the legendary chaotic battlefield. Has the chaotic battlefield finally opened? Duga Chiobai, Pangyanggang, and the others opened their eyes. Their eyes were filled with anticipation. Everyone was waiting for this day. They were waiting for the appearance of the ultimate creation. In the chaotic battlefield, other than the appearance of the Chosen One, the most important thing was the endless creation that could increase one's strength by leaps and bounds. They did not expect the opening of the chaotic battlefield to be so sudden. They did not even have the time to prepare before the chaotic battlefield opened. This time, it's all thanks to Zhao Ritian's ancient seal. Otherwise, we could only watch as the chaotic battlefield opens. There's nothing we can do. Taoist Wu Yang glanced at Zhao Ritian and said. Everyone nodded in agreement. Zhao Ritian's ancient seals were like charcoal in a snowy weather. Almost everyone had an ancient seal in their hands, which gave them the qualifications to enter the primal chaos battlefield. Don't mention it. I feel that the opening of the chaotic battlefield is too strange. I thought it would take a while for it to open. Zhao Ritian waved his hand and said with a strange look in his eyes. According to what everyone knew, when the chaos battlefield opened, the ancient seal's power would be stimulated to the extreme, and it would form a response that could take the host into the chaos battlefield. But now, the chaos battlefield had appeared out of nowhere before everyone's ancient seals could react to it. Who cares? The chaos battlefield has appeared. This time, perhaps we can all become saints in the chaos battlefield. The opportunities in the chaos battlefield are destined to belong to our human tribe. Yap Liangchen said eagerly. Ling Xiao actually refined the gray ancient seal? Zhao Ritian glanced at Ling Xiao from the corner of his eyes and exclaimed in surprise. He clearly felt that the gray ancient seal in Ling Xiao's hand was impossible to refine. But now, Ling Xiao actually managed to refine it. Even the second uncle in Zhao Ritian's body felt a little incredulous. Perhaps, that gray ancient seal really does contain some secrets. Second eldest uncle said thoughtfully. News of the opening of the Primal Chaos battlefield instantly spread throughout the entire Primal Chaos ancient land. All the supreme talents who had obtained the ancient seals were eager to enter the Chaos battlefield. They were looking forward to entering the Chaos battlefield and starting a great battle. Those geniuses who did not obtain the ancient seals also sped up their efforts to snatch the ancient seals. News of the guardians of the sacred city being killed constantly spread. At the same time, new guardians were born. The entire Primal Chaos ancient land was in an uproar because of the opening of the Chaos battlefield. Rumble. The Chaos battlefield above the void was illusory in the beginning. However, as time passed, the Chaos battlefield became more and more real. Everyone could even see the stone pillars around the Chaos battlefield. There were strange runes on the pillars that looked like divine runes from the ancient times. They contained vast Great Tao rules, making the entire Chaos battlefield indestructible. There were many mysterious scenes engraved on the Chaos battlefield. It looked like an endless war between chaotic gods and demons. It also looked like the powerful races of the universe were fighting for supremacy. Those scenes were enshrouded in chaotic chi, as if they were coming alive. It was extremely mysterious. At the same time, those who had refined the ancient seals could feel a surge of power awakening in the ancient seals. It contained a vast amount of destiny power, and its connection with the Chaos battlefield became closer. The Chaos battlefield opened so soon? Damn it! The undying prince and Long Outyin, I will not let you go. In the human tribe's Saint City, the Son of Heaven sat cross-legged on the Celestial Emperor's chariot. The aura around him was turbulent and terrifying, and his eyes were filled with killing intent. When he returned to the human tribe's Saint City and was about to chase after the consciousness of the demon tribe, he found that the consciousness of the demon tribe's primordial spirit had already disappeared. Now that the Chaos battlefield had opened, he was furious, but there was nothing he could do. He could only take out an ancient seal that he had prepared in advance and quickly refined it. However, one could imagine the anger and killing intent in his heart. Many of the Sky Prides opened their eyes and woke up from their secluded cultivation. Their eyes were filled with strong fighting spirit and anticipation. The Chaos battlefield has finally opened. This time, I, Wu Tian, am destined to become the chosen one and create the sorcerer tribe's opportunity. A burly man with bulging muscles suddenly rushed out from a mountain and blasted it into smithereens. He was wearing beast skin and his aura was wild and ancient. His eyes were filled with a wild light. He held a huge saber in his hand and roared at the sky. Instantly, he shot up into the sky and flew toward the Chaos battlefield. The rise of the Nether tribe is today. Those who stand in my way shall die. A young man in a black robe soared into the sky from the endless black lake of deathly aura. His aura was cold and evil, and he looked like a ghost. There were ghost flames dancing in his eyes. He looked at the Chaos battlefield in the void and said eerily. Light flashed around him and he instantly disappeared into the void. The ghost tribe will rise, and I, Gui Ju, will be the chosen one. In a valley that was shrouded in ghostly aura, the void rippled like water as a cold voice slowly sounded. A young man with a pale face walked out from a black palace. His aura was unfathomable. He looked like he was completely dead. The deathly aura around him filled the air, but there was a trace of vitality in it, making him look like a living dead. Chapter 2263. Ling Xiao was immersed in the mysterious world of the deity clan seal and was unaware of what was happening outside. There were wisps of golden air currents in the deity clan seal. They looked mysterious as though they contained the ancient history of the deity clan. The golden air currents could not be touched, but they were real. It was as though one could see the rise and fall of the deity clan and see the changes in the world through them. Is this the fate of the deity clan? Ling Xiao thought to himself as his heart skipped a beat. The 108 ancient seals in the 108 holy cities contained the karmic luck of 108 powerful races. They also represented the 108 epic lords of the past. Refining an ancient seal would not only grant one the qualifications to enter the primal chaos battlefield, but it would also grant one the karmic luck of a powerful race, giving one the power to be invincible. Ling Xiao could almost instantly confirm that the golden air currents were the fate of the deity clan. Ling Xiao's soul slowly floated up. His entire body shone with the resplendent light. He wanted to absorb the fates of the divine race. Ling Xiao felt an inexplicable desire. It was as if the fates of the divine race were extremely important to him. Buzz. The golden fate of the deity clan bloomed in the void like dazzling starlight when it sensed Ling Xiao's primordial spirit. It slowly integrated into Ling Xiao's primordial spirit. Ling Xiao's primordial spirit gave off a dazzling golden glow. It was as though his entire body was made of gold. It was crystal clear and gave off an ancient and mysterious aura. Under the scouring of the fate of the deity clan, Ling Xiao's primordial spirit gradually shrank. His primordial spirit, which was already 10 feet tall, shrank rapidly to the size of a palm. It was like a small golden person with a face identical to Ling Xiao's. It was extremely clear and had a faint smile. At the same time, it gave off an inexplicable majestic aura. Ling Xiao could feel that his primordial spirit instantly filled the entire world of the deity clan seal and enveloped the ancient and mysterious battlefield. Ling Xiao could clearly see that the ancient battlefield formed by countless chaotic divine demons was extremely sturdy. There were runes circling around it and divine chains of order intertwined. It also gave off a powerful murderous aura and battle intent. If an ordinary person dared to enter the battlefield rashly, their consciousness would be erased by the murderous aura and they would become a muddle-headed zombie. What's that? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He actually saw a few figures appear on the battlefield. All of them had ancient seals floating above their heads. They contained a powerful force of fate and their auras were extremely powerful. Could this battlefield be the chaos battlefield? Ling Xiao's heart trembled, and a strange look appeared in his eyes. Then he slowly woke up from that strange state. Ling Xiao, are you all right? Ling Xiao had just woken up when he saw the concerned faces of Old Goat and the others. His eyes were filled with joy. It was because Ling Xiao had spent too much time refining the ancient seal. A few days had passed, but Ling Xiao still looked like he had passed away. There was no energy fluctuation in his body. Old Goat and the others almost couldn't help but wake Ling Xiao up. I'm fine. Is that the chaos battlefield? Ling Xiao shook his head. Suddenly he saw the ancient battlefield in the sky, and he could not help but shudder. His expression became even stranger. This was because the primal chaos battlefield was exactly the same as the one in the God Clan seal. Could it be that the chaos battlefield originally existed in the God Clan seal? Ling Xiao suddenly felt that he had obtained an incredible treasure. That's right. The chaos battlefield has opened while you were in seclusion. Speaking of which, what ancient seal did you refine? Why did you take so long? Let's go quickly. If we're late, the opportunity will fall into the hands of others. Zhao Ritian looked at Ling Xiao curiously. Then his tone changed and his voice became very urgent. I refined the God Clan seal. When the chaos battlefield opens, do you know how to obtain the opportunity? Do you know how to become the chosen one? Ling Xiao looked at Zhao Ritian and asked. Don't you know? Feel your ancient seal. There should be information on it. However, this time, I won't hold back. Ling Xiao, if you end up in my hands, I'll defeat you completely. Zhao Ritian chuckled. His eyes were filled with a strong fighting spirit. He automatically ignored the God Clan seal that Ling Xiao mentioned. In his opinion, even if Ling Xiao's ancient seal was not bad, it could not be as strong as a human's clan seal. This was because this era was the era of the human race, and the fate of the human race was the strongest. Battle of Fate? Only by obtaining all the power of fate can one become the chosen one? Ling Xiao carefully felt the aura of the God Clan seal. Indeed, he found a message from it. Only then did he discover the rules of the Chaos Battlefield. The rule of the Chaos Battlefield was that there were no rules. There was only one way to become the chosen one, and that was to completely defeat the 108 Supreme Sky Prides, seize the fate in their ancient seals, and merge it into one. Only then would one become the chosen one. It could be said that once one entered the Chaos Battlefield, it was decided that one would have to fight a bloody battle. The Chaos Battlefield was filled with dangers. Not only were there 108 Supreme Sky Prides, but there were also fighting spirits and powerful beasts that had fallen here. Once one entered the Chaos Battlefield, one would not only have to deal with sneak attacks from other Sky Prides, but also have to guard against those fighting spirits and beasts. All in all, once one entered the Chaos Battlefield, most people were destined to be eliminated. Only one person would be the chosen one. However, there were also many opportunities in the Chaos Battlefield. If one could obtain those opportunities, even if one did not become the chosen one, it would be a worthwhile trip. Therefore, everyone was eager to enter the Chaos Battlefield. Everyone, please be careful. Other than the powerful geniuses of other races, there are many dangers in the Chaos Battlefield. Most importantly, I feel that this time, we will be randomly teleported into the Chaos Battlefield. Everyone will not be together, so we have to be more careful of the enemy's sneak attacks. Pangutyanggang said slowly, his voice extremely solemn. That's right. In the Chaos Battlefield, there are opportunities and inheritances left behind by various races. The fight for the inheritances will be the most intense. Moreover, in the Chaos Battlefield, we can't use extreme Dao Emperor weapons. This is good news for us. Let's hope that everyone can gain something this time. Ling Xiao nodded and said, Hee, then what are we waiting for? Let's go. Zhao Ritian chuckled and said. His eyes were filled with eagerness. He took the lead and leaped into the sky. The human seal above his head shone with dazzling light and wrapped him up. In an instant he plunged into the Chaos Battlefield. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Yi Liangshan followed closely behind, followed by the old goat, Taoist Wuliang and the rest. All of them unleashed the power of the ancient seal and flew into the Chaos Battlefield. Jin Sei, be careful. I will meet up with you as soon as possible. Ling Xiao looked at Jin Sei and said with a smile. All right. Jin Sei nodded faintly and said with some hesitation. Then she leaped into the sky and entered the Chaos Battlefield without looking back. Chapter 2264. Is this the Chaos Battlefield? Ling Zhao's eyes were filled with a strange look. Under the guidance of the God Clan seal, the sky was filled with dazzling light. It was as though layers of space had shattered and Ling Xiao had arrived in a foreign land. As he had expected, the Chaos Battlefield was randomly teleported. Old Goat and the rest had completely disappeared and he was the only one left. This was an ancient land and chaotic fog filled the air. He could vaguely see mountains in the distance. Ling Zhao's primordial spirit could not sense the entire Chaos Battlefield. Previously, the Chaos Battlefield was floating in the sky and it looked like a small continent. However, after entering it, Ling Xiao realized that the Chaos Battlefield was extremely vast and it was like an ancient world. However, the Chaos Battlefield was filled with ominous aura and chaotic currents intertwined. It contained an extremely chaotic energy fluctuation. If one was not careful, one could be turned into dust. Moreover, the Chaos Battlefield was filled with a strange energy fluctuation that made one's blood boil and battle intent surge. It was as though one could not help but find someone to fight. The God Clan seal floated above Ling Zhao's head and it was filled with strands of golden air current. They intertwined with each other and it was like a golden sun that shone brightly. That was the fate of the God Clan. It floated above Ling Zhao's head and it isolated the ominous aura in the Chaos Battlefield. It made Ling Xiao feel invulnerable. I have to find Jin Sei and the rest as soon as possible. Although I can't use extreme Tao Emperor weapons in the Chaos battlefield, Tianzi and the rest are not to be underestimated. If I encounter Tianzi, Jin Se and the rest will be in danger. Ling Xiao thought to himself. He sank his primordial spirit into the God Clan seal, and the powerful primordial spirit power spread out and covered the entire world in the God Clan seal. In an instant, Ling Xiao felt that the entire world had become clear. The ancient battlefield in front of him was actually revealed to him with incomparable clarity. It is indeed the Chaos battlefield. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of understanding, and his heart was also stirred up. The chaotic battlefield in front of him was indeed within the Shen clan mark. Although he did not know what kind of state he was in, his primordial spirit sensed that the entire chaotic battlefield was within his perception. Ling Xiao could sense that 108 powerful auras were floating in the chaos battlefield like 108 stars. They were all looking for something in the chaos battlefield with strong chi fates above their heads. Why were the colors of the providence above their heads different? Could it be that it represents the strength of one's luck? Ling Xiao thought to himself as his heart skipped a beat. He could sense that among the 108 powerful auras, most of them had white fates. Only a dozen of them had silver fates. As for the golden fates, other than him, there was only one. Unfortunately, although Ling Xiao could sense the location of the 108 auras, they all had ancient seals to conceal their cultivation fluctuations. Ling Xiao had no way to distinguish their true identities. That golden light should belong to Zhao Ritian, right? Ling Xiao thought to himself. The owner of the golden fates was the furthest away from him. However, Ling Xiao immediately thought of Zhao Ritian. Perhaps only the human tribe, who was the epic master, could have such powerful fates. White, silver, and gold were the three grades of fates that Ling Xiao knew so far. Ling Xiao did not know the specific uses of the various fates. To be able to sense the location of 108 heaven's prides is simply cheating. I wonder what kind of existence the Shun clan mark is. Even the chaos ancient land is hidden within it? Ling Xiao thought to himself. At the same time, he was filled with confidence. Being able to sense the positions of the other 107 geniuses meant that Ling Xiao had the upper hand. He would be able to defeat those people one by one and eventually sweep through the crowd, becoming the only heaven's chosen son. This was an irresistible temptation to anyone. In that case, I shall kill them one by one. I will definitely find Jin Se and the rest. I can also take this opportunity to eliminate the rest and weaken the Son of Heaven's power. Ling Xiao's eyes glinted as he took the lead and charged towards the supreme talent closest to him. It was a white fates. It was only a few thousand miles away from Ling Xiao. To Ling Xiao, it arrived in a matter of seconds. It's actually a relic? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He saw an extremely ancient and dilapidated building complex in front of him. Although it contained the mottled aura of time, he could still vaguely see the power and grandeur of the past. There were still powerful and profound formation runes left on the walls. As for that figure, it was located in the middle of the buildings. Ling Xiao strode towards the building complex. His expression was extremely calm. Sensing the silence around him, he felt an inexplicable sense of danger. The surrounding void was slightly distorted. Black divine chains of order stretched out from the void, silently wrapping around Ling Xiao's body. Have I been discovered? Ling Xiao's eyes moved. He took a step forward and instantly appeared tens of thousands of feet away, entering the ancient building complex. Rumble. In an instant, the lightning around him blazed and the world shook. An extremely powerful formation fluctuation exploded, containing the power to destroy everything. It was about to pounce towards Ling Xiao at any time. You're really lucky. I've just set up my trap, and someone actually dares to barge in. An extremely cold voice rang out in the void. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he saw a young man in a black robe slowly emerging from the black thunderbolts. The aura around him was extremely powerful, and he had a handsome face. His figure was tall and majestic, and his purple hair danced in the wind. His entire body exuded a powerful thunderbolt origin energy. In particular, there was a purple lightning mark between his eyebrows, which added a bit of majesty and mystery to him. You're from the Thunder Clan? When Ling Xiao saw the black-robed young man, he didn't seem surprised at all. He instantly recognized the young man's origin. He had an Earth Realm cultivation, and his aura was sharp and domineering. The white fates above his head seemed to be able to trigger the might of heaven and earth with every move he made. It was extremely terrifying. Based on the black-robed young man's appearance and aura, Ling Xiao instantly recognized that he was from the ancient Thunder Clan. Chapter 2265. Lei Zhuo was the most outstanding genius of his generation in the Lei clan. The Lei clan was the ruler of the Thunder World. Legend had it that countless eras ago, the Lei clan was the ruler of an era. At that time, the Lei clan had a brilliant great emperor named the Thunder Punishment Great Emperor. He swept across the myriad of worlds and led the Lei clan to the peak. That was the most glorious time of the Lei clan. Legend had it that the Tian Fa secret technique had a mysterious connection with the Thunder Punishment Great Emperor. However, the current Lei clan was no longer as strong as before. After so many years, no great emperor was born. They could only hole up in the Thunder World. Lei Zhuo grew up listening to the past glory of the Lei clan and the deeds of the Thunder Punishment Great Emperor. He swore to become the hope of the Lei clan, to strive for the position of Great Emperor, and to break the curse of the Lei clan. Therefore, Lei Zhuo had come to this ancient land of primal chaos with great ambition. Not only had he obtained many opportunities, but he'd also broken through the limit twice to reach the Earth Realm. He'd also obtained the Lightning Clan seal and the Lightning Clan's destiny, allowing him to reach the final battlefield of primal chaos. Lei Zhuo was confident that as long as he was given another chance to break the limit for the third time, he would be able to unleash the unparalleled battle prowess of the Lei clan. He would sweep through the crowd and seize the position of Heaven's chosen one. He didn't expect that the first person he would meet would be Ling Xiao. Although Lei Zhuo had heard of Ling Xiao's deeds, he had never seen him before. Therefore, he didn't recognize him. Instead, he wanted to use the method he left behind in the ruins to kill his first opponent and seize his fate. You want to kill me? This ruin contains rich lightning origin energy. I'm afraid there's a lightning treasure, right? Furthermore, that treasure should have already fallen into your hands. If you're willing to give it to me, I might spare your life. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His expression was calm and indifferent, as if he didn't care about the blazing lightning-killing intent in the surroundings. Ling Xiao could feel the rich lightning origin energy in the ruins. Lei Zhuo's body also had the fluctuation of a treasure. Ling Xiao's incomparably sharp senses detected it. Spare my life? You really don't know what's good for you. Since that's the case, I'll take your fate and your life. Lei Zhuo said domineeringly. His eyes were incomparably cold. Lightning surged around his body and an icy killing intent spread out from his body. Even though Lei Zhuo couldn't see through Ling Xiao's cultivation, he had great confidence in himself. Especially with the treasure he obtained from the ruins, he believed that no one would be able to withstand his wrath. Moreover, the golden fate above Ling Xiao's head made his heart burn. Although he didn't know the level of fate, he could feel that Ling Xiao's golden fate was unimaginably attractive to him. Really? Then let me have a taste of the Thunder Clan's absolute art. Ling Xiao smiled faintly as a sharp glint appeared in his eyes. He also knew that the Heaven Punishment secret skill had a very mysterious relationship with the Thunder Clan. Legend had it that the Thunder Emperor of the Human Clan had once cultivated the supreme unique skill of the Thunder Clan. That was how he created the Thunder Emperor scripture that shook the heavens. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Lei Zhuo's face darkened. Blazing lightning surged around his body, containing a terrifying destructive force. Lei Zhuo pulled his hands together and a black lightning spear appeared in his palms. The spear radiance intertwined with terrifying lightning as it pierced through the air towards Ling Xiao. Boom! The void trembled violently as Lei Zhuo unleashed all of his strength. Furthermore, the powerful restrictive formation that he had set up was also activated in an instant. The lightning was like a waterfall as it enveloped Ling Xiao from all directions. Even though Lei Zhuo was confident, he was still extremely cautious when he attacked. He wanted to kill Ling Xiao with a single strike. He knew that anyone who could enter the chaotic ancient land was a supreme talent with their own trump cards. Ling Xiao's gaze was incomparably deep. Facing Lei Zhuo, who was charging towards him, he simply threw out a punch. Kacha! The light of primal chaos shattered, and a vast and ancient qi burst out. Ling Xiao's fist rapidly expanded in the void, like a vast and ancient world, intertwined with golden lightning, rumbling and pressing down. Heaven and earth seemed to have flipped over at this moment. The endless lightning contained an aura that could destroy everything. It was like the punishment of the heavenly Tao that wanted to destroy this world. This is Heaven's punishment secret skill? I didn't expect you to be from the 9 imperial gates. Very well, I'll take both the Heaven's punishment secret skill and your life. Lei Zhuo's body trembled. His eyes were burning with passion and the lightning spear in his hand became even sharper. The Heaven's punishment secret skill was the supreme technique of the 9 imperial gates. Legend had it that it was first passed down from the Lei clan. However, the Lei clan had long lost the Heaven's punishment secret skill. Lei Zhuo had always wanted to snatch the Heaven's punishment secret skill back from the 9 imperial gates. Now that he saw Ling Xiao using the Heaven's punishment secret skill, his heart was burning with passion. Rumble! The lightning spear pierced through the sky and collided with Ling Xiao's fist. Blazing lightning exploded and swept away all the chaotic energy in the surroundings. However, Lei Zhuo's expression changed abruptly. He could feel an incomparably terrifying power erupting from Ling Xiao's fist. It was ferocious and overbearing to the extreme, causing his scalp to go numb. Kacha! The lightning spear was shattered by Ling Xiao in an instant. The lightning that filled the sky was annihilated and the surrounding lightning that was rushing towards Ling Xiao retreated abruptly. Break! Ling Xiao's gaze was sharp and his momentum did not decrease. He was like a peerless god of war as he used the Heaven's punishment secret skill to destroy the powerful restriction that Lei Zhuo had set up. Lei Zhuo was sent flying. His blood and qi surged and his eyes were filled with disbelief. You've actually reached the 3rd heaven realm. For you. Lei Zhuo's body trembled and his eyes were filled with disbelief. According to what he knew, although 108 geniuses had entered the chaotic ancient land, the number of people who had reached the 3rd heaven realm could be counted on one hand. Only the legendary Son of Heaven and the Undying Prince had reached the 3rd heaven realm. He had never thought that he would meet a heaven realm monster the moment he arrived. You don't need to know who I am, because in my eyes, you're already a dead man. Ling Xiao said indifferently. There was a trace of cold killing intent in his eyes. In the chaotic ancient land, there were many battles between geniuses. In order to seize each other's fate, one party had to pay the price of death. Chapter 2266. Arrogant. I don't care who you are, you must die. Lei Zhuo's eyes revealed a trace of madness. The terrifying aura around him rose and the lightning became even more intense. It was like a vast wave that enveloped his entire body. His palm glowed with divine light. Streaks of blood-red light converged from his body, forming a blood-red ball of light in his palm. It wrapped around a purple bead and slowly floated into the air. That purple bead was actually an eyeball. A sharp glint flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. He actually felt a strong threat from that eyeball. Brat, you should be proud to die under the eye of the Lightning Emperor. Lei Zhuo's voice was incomparably cold. It was filled with monstrous killing intent. In an instant, the eyeball emitted an immeasurable amount of light as purple clouds rose. Bolts of lightning shot across the sky, containing an incomparably terrifying energy fluctuation. Rumble! The eye of the Lightning Emperor shot towards Ling Xiao. The purple lightning started to burn like flames, causing the surrounding void to distort and tremble violently. The eye of the Lightning Emperor? Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat. He guessed that the Eye of the Lightning Emperor that Lei Zhuo was talking about was probably a treasure that he had obtained from these ruins. Ling Xiao didn't have the slightest fear. His gaze was still calm as he faced the Eye of the Lightning Emperor that was flying towards him and punched out. Kacha! The void shook violently as the chaotic light illuminated the 3,000 worlds. Ling Xiao punched out, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. It was as if 3,000 ancient worlds had appeared, containing a kind of energy fluctuation that could suppress everything. The fist of the heavenly emperor had exploded. Ling Xiao punched out like a dragon. At the same time, the lightning around his body was dazzling. He executed the heavenly punishment secret technique in an attempt to neutralize the terrifying energy contained in the Eye of the Lightning Emperor. Rumble! Ling Xiao's fist collided with the Eye of the Thunder Emperor. In that instant, blazing waves of divine light erupted. The lightning was unparalleled, spreading out in all directions. It was like a vast ocean, drowning Ling Xiao entirely. Lei Zhuo's attack was also incomparably ruthless. After confirming that Ling Xiao's cultivation was at the heaven realm, he knew that he was no match for Ling Xiao. He immediately used his strongest trump card, the Eye of the Lightning Emperor. Ling Xiao's heavenly emperor fist was fierce and overbearing, causing the Eye of the Lightning Emperor to tremble violently. It was as if it couldn't withstand Ling Xiao's terrifying power. The Eye of the Thunder Emperor trembled with a buzz, and a blazing purple vortex erupted from within. It was as if it contained a foreign world, wanting to swallow Ling Xiao into it. As the purple vortex spun, it was as if all the stars in the sky had gathered together, causing Ling Xiao to feel dizzy. His primordial spirit almost flew out of his sea of consciousness and merged with the purple vortex. Vaguely, in the violet eye of the Thunder Emperor, there seemed to be a violet figure sitting cross-legged. His body emitted a terrifying aura, and countless fiend gods were buried in his surroundings, causing him to look even more tyrannical, like a supreme emperor who could sweep through the heavens. The Eye of the Lightning Emperor. Is this really the Eye of the Lightning Emperor? Ling Xiao's heart trembled. His forehead emitted a bright light. Although the Eye of the Lightning Emperor contained extremely powerful mental energy, Ling Xiao's primordial spirit was also incomparably strong. With the wordless heavenly book's protection, it was almost invulnerable. Sensing the terrifying lightning origin energy contained in the Eye of the Lightning Emperor, Ling Xiao used the Heaven-Devouring Secret Technique and Heaven's Punishment Secret Technique. A mysterious whirlpool formed around him. Rumble! The Heaven's Punishment Secret Technique contained the lightning origin energy. Ling Xiao had also cultivated the Heaven-Devouring Secret Technique to perfection, forming the Heaven-Devouring Sacred Domain. Under Ling Xiao's devouring, the boundless energy in the Eye of the Lightning Emperor crazily surged into Ling Xiao's body. Kacha! Streaks of blazing lightning covered Ling Xiao's body like divine chains of order. Under the refinement of the lightning origin energy, Ling Xiao's body became increasingly sparkling and flawless. A layer of sparkling and translucent cuticle even appeared on the surface of his skin, emitting an aura of eternal immortality. The acupuncture points on his body seemed to have been split open by lightning, forming a mysterious small world in the chaos. There was a mysterious figure sitting cross-legged in it. Although the figure's face was blurry, it was very similar to Ling Xiao. Lei Zhuo's face was filled with a cold smile. He was very clear about the terror of the Eye of the Lightning Emperor. Just a ray of light had caused him to be severely injured. If he hadn't used the Lightning Clan's foundation, he wouldn't have been able to obtain the Eye of the Lightning Emperor. He believed that even if Ling Xiao had the Heaven's Punishment Secret Technique, he would still die in the face of a treasure like the Eye of the Lightning Emperor. What? However, Lei Zhuo suddenly felt the Eye of the Lightning Emperor tremble slightly. A mysterious figure emerged from the endless sea of lightning. He couldn't help but tremble, and his eyes revealed a trace of disbelief. Ling Xiao, who had been devoured by the sea of lightning, actually emerged at this moment. Moreover, he was extracting the power of the Eye of the Lightning Emperor, and his aura began to gradually strengthen. How can he devour the power of the Eye of the Lightning Emperor? Damn it! This is impossible. Lei Zhuo's face was incomparably ugly, and his eyes revealed a mixture of shock and anger. For the first time, he felt that things had gone out of his control and were developing in an uncontrollable direction. Rumble. His eyes revealed a trace of ruthlessness and killing intent. Without thinking, he leaped into the sky, and the lightning war spear appeared in his palm once again. It was incomparably sharp and directly pierced towards Ling Xiao's forehead. He had a feeling that if he didn't take advantage of this opportunity to kill Ling Xiao in one fell swoop, he would be in a very disadvantageous situation. The lightning war spear was a sacred treasure he had brought from the Lightning Clan. It was called the Calamity War Spear, and it possessed the supreme power to control the calamity. At this moment, it had completely erupted, like a black lightning dragon wreaking havoc. It was as if the heavenly Tao had sent a calamity to completely destroy Ling Xiao. However, when the Calamity War Spear was about to reach Ling Xiao's forehead, it was instantly caught by two sparkling jade-like fingers, and couldn't go any further. You want to kill me? Unfortunately, it's too late. Ling Xiao slowly opened his eyes, and there was a faint gleam of sharpness in his eyes. Gotcha! His two fingers moved, and in an instant, the Calamity War Spear trembled violently. The surrounding lightning exploded, and the Calamity War Spear trembled violently. Lei Zhuo's expression changed as he felt an irresistible force coming towards him. His arm went numb, and the Calamity War Spear flew out of his hand in an instant. At the same time, a dazzling golden astral finger shot across the sky. It was Ling Xiao's finger. It was dazzling and exuded immortal energy waves. It was as fast as lightning and arrived in front of Lei Zhuo in an instant. Lei Zhuo didn't even have time to dodge. A bloody light flashed, and Ling Xiao's finger directly pierced through Lei Zhuo's forehead. Then, it rapidly destroyed the primordial spirit in his sea of consciousness, and a terrifying force erupted from his sea of consciousness. Lei Zhuo's body also exploded into a bloody mist in the air. Chapter 2267. Lei Zhuo had died in battle. Before he died, his eyes were filled with disbelief and fear. He didn't even have the time to beg for mercy before he died in Ling Xiao's hands. His ambition, his future, all of it had turned into nothingness at this moment. Until his death, Lei Zhuo couldn't figure out why the Eye of the Lightning Emperor couldn't do anything to Ling Xiao. He didn't even know Ling Xiao's name. The terrifying combat power that Ling Xiao had unleashed had made him feel despair. In the end, he died in an incomparably sullen manner. Boom! Ling Xiao's glabella shone and the wordless heavenly book unleashed a powerful devouring power, devouring all the fragments of Lei Zhuo's primordial spirit. Lei Zhuo's primordial spirit was very strong. Although it had been pierced by Ling Xiao's finger, it still contained boundless lightning origin energy. Now that it had been refined by the wordless heavenly book, the purest primordial spirit energy had been integrated into Ling Xiao's primordial spirit, making Ling Xiao's primordial spirit stronger. Ling Xiao even saw some of Lei Zhuo's primordial spirit fragments in the grass. However, before Ling Xiao had the time to examine Lei Zhuo's memories in detail, he heard two whizzing sounds. Their target was the Eye of the Lightning Emperor in the void. The Eye of the Lightning Emperor shone brightly in the void. It was enshrouded in purple clouds and blazing lightning. It looked like a purple divine sun with an incomparably powerful aura. As for the two figures that had broken through the air, they wanted to snatch the Eye of the Lightning Emperor. Courting death. A cold light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. He didn't expect that there would be people who dared to pick the fruits of his labor at this moment. Without thinking, he threw out a punch. At the same time, runes rose from his other palm and a blazing lightning vortex appeared. He executed the powerful Sky Punishment secret skill and grabbed at the Eye of the Lightning Emperor. Rumble! Ling Xiao's punch was filled with anger, and he did not show any mercy. Terrifying divine energy erupted from his body, and it was as if a chaotic divine mountain had appeared in the void. It was vast and mighty, and it contained the power to suppress everything. The two figures paused for a moment. They also felt that Ling Xiao's punch was not to be trifled with. They did not choose to take it head-on. Instead, with a flash of light, they used the void teleportation technique to dodge Ling Zhao's punch. However, they had missed the best opportunity to obtain the Eye of the Lightning Emperor. The Eye of the Thunder Emperor shone brightly and instantly turned into a stream of light, being grabbed by Ling Zhao. "It's you?" Ling Zhao's eyes flashed coldly as he stared at the two figures in the sky. They were two valiant young men. One wore Qilin armor and held a halberd in his hand. His aura was incomparably sharp, while the other wore a five-colored Taoist robe. He looked handsome and confident, but his expression was incomparably arrogant. Ling Zhao had seen these two people before. They were the Nirvana Saint's son and Origin Star Saint's son. The two followers of the Son of Heaven actually appeared here. Your Long Outyen. The Nirvana Saint's son and Yuanshan Saint's son shuddered when they saw Ling Zhao. Fear appeared in their eyes. They had sensed the fluctuations of a great battle here. Furthermore, the aura of the Eye of the Lightning Emperor was too powerful. That kind of resplendent treasure light blossomed in the sky, attracting their attention. Therefore, they had the idea of snatching the Eye of the Lightning Emperor. However, they did not expect to meet Long Outyen here. Long Outyen was extremely powerful. They had seen the battle between him and the Son of Heaven. Although they did not think that Long Outyen would be a match for the Son of Heaven, they had to admit that Long Outyen was stronger than them. "Nirvana Saint's son, Yuanshan Saint's son, you dare to snatch my things? How dare you?" Ling Zhao laughed coldly. A trace of cold killing intent appeared in his eyes. He and the Son of Heaven had long been incompatible like fire and water. There would be a battle between the two of them. Ling Zhao naturally did not have any good feelings towards the followers of the Son of Heaven. He immediately wanted to kill them. "Long Outyen, don't misunderstand. We are just passing by. Sorry for disturbing you. Goodbye." The Yuanshan Saint's son's expression changed slightly. He cupped his hands and bowed to Ling Zhao. Then, he exchanged a look with the Nirvana Saint's son and turned to leave. "Want to leave? Leave your life behind." Ling Zhao's cold voice rang in the sky. In an instant, heaven and earth shook. The void rumbled and blazing divine light exploded. Ling Zhao's fist enveloped the Nirvana Saint's son and Yuanshan Saint's son. Rumble. At the same time, the lightning around Ling Zhao was unparalleled. He used the secret skill of Heaven's punishment. Thick bolts of lightning covered the surroundings like a huge lightning barrier, cutting off the Nirvana Saint's son and Yuanshan Saint's son's escape route. It was fine if he did not make a move, but once he did, it was like a thunderbolt. Ling Zhao had no intention of letting the two of them leave. "Long Outyen, don't go too far." The Nirvana Saint's son was enraged. His eyes were cold. The heavenly halberd in his hand bloomed with brilliant light. Unparalleled divine power erupted and suddenly slashed at Ling Zhao. The aura of nirvana enveloped his body. This attack had the infinite power to destroy heaven and earth. Although his cultivation was only in the earth realm, he was still the saint's son of the Nirvana temple. He had inherited the secret skill of nirvana. His attack was also incomparably fierce. He knew that Ling Zhao was powerful, so he did not dare to be careless. He instantly used the secret skill of nirvana. "Long Outyen, do you really think we are afraid of you?" The Yuanshan saint's son also shouted angrily. A five-colored ancient sword appeared in his palm. It flowed with the aura of the great Tao of the five elements. It pierced through the air toward Ling Zhao. 5 sword lights intertwined, each of them incomparably fierce. At the same time, the aura of the 5 elements rose around him. It seemed to form an ancient boundary of the 5 elements around him. The power of the 5 elements merged together perfectly, forming a perfect balance. Going too far? You should have thought of today's outcome the moment you joined the Emperor and ambushed me. Ling Zhao's voice was incomparably cold. His fist print swept through the void and pressed down mightily. He was like an invincible celestial emperor. His fist light illuminated 3,000 worlds and collided with the heavenly halberd in the Nirvana Saint Son's hand. Rumble! Blazing light exploded, and a series of explosions sounded in the void. the Nirvana Saint Sun only felt an unparalleled divine power attacking him. The heavenly halberd trembled violently as if it was about to fly out of his hand. At the same time, Ling Xiao reached out with his palm. It was like a huge blade light that separated heaven and earth. It directly broke through the powerful chi of Nirvana around the Nirvana Saint's sun and slashed at his head. Damn it. Chapter 2268. He suddenly spat out a black ball of light that bloomed in the void. In an instant, it split into 9 powerful boundaries in an attempt to block Ling Xiao's palm. At the same time, he grabbed the sky-piercer halberd and slashed it behind him. It was as if he wanted to split the heavens and the earth and split the sea. He wanted to break through the endless lightning and escape. When he saw the battle between Ling Xiao and the Son of Heaven, he knew that Ling Xiao was very strong, but he did not think that Ling Xiao was much stronger than him. But now that they had exchanged blows, he knew that he was gravely mistaken. In front of Ling Xiao, he was like a child who had not yet grown up. It was as if he had no power to resist at all. Even if he used the Nirvana secret art, he was still not Ling Xiao's match. Rumble! Ling Xiao's palm blade slashed down from the sky. It contained an indestructible force and was extremely terrifying. It broke the 9 boundaries that the Nirvana Saint's sun had created. Even the 5 elements sword chi of the Yuanshan Saint's sun was instantly reduced to dust. The Yuanshan Saint's sun's expression changed as the terrifying palm blade slashed down. His entire body bloomed with 5-colored divine light. He trembled slightly and erupted with powerful void fluctuations. He dodged Ling Xiao's attack by a hair's breadth. The Nirvana Saint's sun was in a miserable state. His sky-piercer halberd landed in the blazing lightning. In an instant, the void trembled and lightning exploded. The bolts of lightning that were as thick as dragons did not shatter as the Nirvana Saint's sun had imagined. Instead, they were incomparably tough and directly sealed his sky-piercer halberd. Bolts of lightning struck the Nirvana Saint's sun's body, causing his entire body to tremble violently. He was severely injured. The tyrannical aura of Nirvana around him was also broken. His face was extremely pale and he coughed up blood. Boom! Ling Xiao's gaze was incomparably cold. A monstrous fist print pressed down from the sky, erupting with terrifying chaotic light that seemed to be able to obliterate everything. It also illuminated the Nirvana Saint's sun's terrified and desperate eyes. Under such a terrifying punch, the Nirvana Saint's sun exploded in the air and turned into a bloody mist. His nascent spirit shrieked and tried to charge out of the bloody mist, but Ling Xiao was prepared and swallowed it whole. The sky-devouring secret art devoured everything, and the Nirvana Holy Sun only had his nascent spirit left. It was impossible for him to escape. The Nirvana Saint's sun had been completely annihilated. The Yuanshan Saint's sun was stunned. When he felt Ling Xiao's cold gaze on him, he couldn't help but shiver. His eyes were filled with fear, and he no longer had the will to fight. He had to escape at all costs. The Yuanshan Saint's sun's eyes revealed a trace of madness. He suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood and instantly drew an incomparably mysterious ancient rune character in the void. It was as if more than half of the Yuanshan Saint's sun's spirit had been sucked out and integrated into the ancient rune character. Boom! The ancient rune character wriggled violently in the void and then exploded. The surrounding chaotic mist was annihilated, and blazing divine light rose. The ancient rune character wrapped around the Yuanshan Saint's sun and wanted to rush out of the range of the sky punishment secret art. A sliver of surprise appeared in Ling Xiao's eyes. He could feel the profoundness of the ancient rune. It actually contained an exquisite escape technique. Even the seal of Tian Fa was unable to do anything to it. Although Ling Xiao was surprised, he didn't slow down at all. His hands formed a seal, and circles of brilliant light of reincarnation bloomed. In an instant, it was like a mysterious reincarnation passage that directly enveloped the Yuanshan Saint's sun. At the same time, Ling Xiao's body roared. He punched out, and a golden divine dragon traversed the 9 heavens, containing a domineering and annihilating aura, rushed toward the Yuanshan Saint's sun. Rumble. The ancient rune character enveloped the Yuanshan Saint's sun and bloomed with 5-colored rays of light. It was about to break free from the seal of the sky punishment secret art and disappear in front of Ling Xiao. But when it was enveloped by the light of reincarnation, it suddenly seemed as if it had fallen into mud. It struggled violently in the void, but there was no way to escape. At this moment, the golden divine dragon soared through the sky and suddenly slammed into the ancient rune character. Terrifying divine power erupted and directly blasted the ancient rune character into smithereens. How is this possible? How can you break my 5 elements celestial shift? The Yuanshan Saint's sun trembled, and his eyes were full of disbelief. He couldn't help but exclaim, "Boom!" At the same time, after the golden divine dragon blasted the ancient rune character, it blasted violently into the Yuanshan Saint's sun. But a layer of perfect 5 elements boundary emerged on his body. It trembled slightly and shattered the golden divine dragon. What a powerful defensive secret art! Ling Xiao stared at the Yuanshan Saint's sun with a look of interest in his eyes. He could feel that the Yuanshan Saint's sun was displaying the 5 elements secret art, which was also the secret art of the 5 elements celestial sect. It contained the original power of the 5 elements great ways. But it was the first time that Ling Xiao had seen such a perfectly balanced boundary art. Even if he used all his strength, it was difficult to break it. Rumble. Blazing lightning rose around Ling Xiao. He had displayed the sky punishment secret art. In an instant, the surrounding Zhou Tian shook, the wind and clouds changed, and endless lightning intertwined in the void. It vaguely seemed to form an incomparably mysterious eye. That was the Eye of Heaven punishment. It was also one of the most powerful attacks of the sky punishment secret art. It could destroy everything. Feeling the terrifying aura of the sky punishment secret art, even the Yuanshan Saint's sun could not help but change his expression. He felt that even if the 5 elements secret art was strong, it would be difficult to withstand the bombardment of the sky punishment secret art. Long Aonin, let me go. As long as you promise to let me go, I'll give you whatever you want. The Yuanshan Saint's sun shouted with a look of anxiety in his eyes. At that moment he felt the threat of death. If I kill you, everything on you will naturally be mine. Ling Xiao said indifferently. His expression was incomparably calm. He still walked slowly toward the Yuanshan Saint's sun, as if he had no intention of letting him go. I have the inheritance crystal of the 5 elements secret art. As long as you let me go, I'll give it to you. If you insist on killing me, I'll choose to self-destruct. At that time, you won't get anything. The Yuanshan Saint's sun gritted his teeth and said with a trace of madness in his eyes. The inheritance crystal of the 5 elements secret art? Let me take a look. Ling Xiao said after thinking for a while. If you promise to let me go, I'll give you the inheritance crystal of the 5 elements secret art. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.